on CAT scale. We applaud the individual truckers and fleets who drive with care and keep our highways safe. The Red Eye Radio Million Mile Club, devoted to trucking safety. Register online at redeyeradioshow.com.
Good morning, 5 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And rain will clear later this morning. We'll get some cloudy skies, maybe some spotty showers this afternoon, too. Our high running up near 80 degrees. Tension between the U.S. and Iran heightening overnight after the U.S. sank 2 Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps ships.
The Pentagon now says U.S. forces have launched new airstrikes inside Iran, describing them as self-defense strikes to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. The strikes carried out in the area of Bandar Abbas, home to Iran's main naval base, reportedly targeted missile launch sites and Iranian boats trying to lay mines off the coast. The attacks coming despite the ongoing ceasefire.
ABC's Sophie Flay reporting there. Iran has responded to those strikes by launching surface-to-air missiles at U.S. planes. The U.S. has destroyed those missile launchers. President Trump remembering the nation's fallen service members yesterday at Arlington National Cemetery.
They've not just made the ultimate sacrifice, they've offered the ultimate proof that we Americans do indeed love liberty. We do cherish the self-government given to us by our forefathers. We do believe with all our souls in the mission that God has given to America.
The president also laying the armed forces' full honor wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. And a medical technician is in jail this morning for allegedly trying to smuggle drugs into a Nashville prison. Here's Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter.
Police say Tamarcus Macon was stopped last week at a security checkpoint at the Lois DeBerry Special Needs Facility. That's when officers say they searched his bag and found opioids, along with papers allegedly laced with synthetic marijuana and heroin. Investigators say Macon was denied entry to the facility and left the property.
The drugs, though, were sent to the TBI for testing, leading to Macon's arrest. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
U.S. markets were closed for Memorial Day, but futures surged in the prospect of a possible deal to end the war in Iran. Oil prices also dropped in the news, hitting a 2-week low Monday with Brent crude futures down 7% to under $95 a barrel. Berlin-based food delivery service Delivery Hero surged after the company confirmed takeover interest from Uber, which is already a significant shareholder. Pope Leo calling for robust regulation of artificial intelligence and for developers to work for the common good rather than for profit. Data from an early phase trial of Eli Lilly's experimental gene editing drug, Verve 102, finds it lowered bad cholesterol, known as LDL, by as much as 62%. It didn't look at whether or not the drug prevents heart attacks or strokes. The Japanese businessman credited with creating 7-Eleven has died. Toshifumi Suzuki was 93. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
And stock futures pointing up this morning with the Dow futures up 232. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Couple trouble spots already this morning. So on 40 eastbound past the I-24 downtown exit. So as you're merging on 24 into 40, you've got a crash that takes out the left lane. Be careful there. It's right around that curve. Also, 24 west in Whites Creek, just past Old Hickory Boulevard North. We've got an overturned semi-truck, and it is in the right lane. The right lane is blocked off. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in to a Tuesday, not a Monday, Joan Jones, like I almost said.
I know. We're going to be saying it all morning, though.
It is Tuesday, May 26th, and welcome on in to a wet and rainy Tuesday. My ride in, uneventful, although very, very wet, so keep it slow, keep it careful, and keep it tuned here to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We've got an action-packed show today, Joan.
Is that right?
So, yeah, absolutely. Don't I sound convincing?
Yes.
On Friday, I could not believe, I'm not going to start the show with this, but just to let you know where we're going. Matt was covering this on Friday. We've got some more details on this. We have yet another Obama judge dropping the human smuggling case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia here in the state of Tennessee. So there's a lot to this story, and so we've got some more details on this, and we're going to talk about that as the morning continues to unfold. We do have, of course, the latest on Iran. I don't know if you saw this. The graduation of these Tennessee high schools in Williamson County, the pouring down rain. Centennial High School, I think it was Centennial High School, and was it Franklin High School as well? So that went viral over the weekend. Do you know who covered the pouring down rain of these graduation high school, high schools graduating the pouring down rain? The Daily Mail covered it.
Huh.
In the UK.
Nobody local
Oh, it's
covered
gone
it?
viral on social media.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we have that story for you as well. You know what my question is on that story? And I'm not going to start this topic officially, but I just want to kind of throw out where I'm going with this whole thing. And Joan, you're a parent. I'm a parent. And there's two ways for parents to deal with disappointment, right? You can be and moan and complain and scream and get pissed off, or you can say, you know, there's some things that we just can't do anything about. We're going to make the best of it. And we're going to move on. We're going to learn how to deal with disappointment, and we're going to move on with the rest of our lives. And so there's two sets of thought. There's two kinds of reactions that I've seen from these parents in Williamson County as their children are having to graduate in the pouring down rain. You have some that are screaming at the schools for not moving the ceremony inside. And you have others that are saying, you know what? This is incredibly memorable. And so we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to move on. And so we're going to talk about that as well, because I think that there are some parents, some of y'all are going to get mad at me. I think some of you parents are setting a bad example for your children. I'm just saying. Let's see here. Touching on some national politics as well. Spencer Pratt has done yet another incredible video in Los Angeles. I cannot wait to show you this. There is just a lot going on. Let's get to it here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN for a Tuesday, the 26th of May. Now, what is going on with Iran? I feel like the Trump administration and the people in Iran, those in charge in Iran, whoever that is, by the way, completely different trains of thought. Now, one of the things, and I did a live show over the weekend on Red Eye, because it literally looked like the network calls me up and they said, Dan, we may have some sort of a deal announced between America and Iran in the coming hours. Can you please go on the radio and talk to the national audience? I said, sure. Why not? First thing I said when I got on the air was, I'm very cynical about this whole thing. And I was right. We kept hearing that a deal was near, a deal was near. And then Iran, of course, would come back and say, no, we don't agree to any of this. Even this morning, and I'm going to get into all of this, but even this morning, it was like, we've got all of these headlines out there. And Joan, you know, because you're looking at these headlines too. You got all these headlines out there, and they're talking about how a deal is near, a deal is near. They've got agreements on, you know, this and this and this. And then at the end of the article, they'll say they haven't agreed to anything nuclear yet. And it's like, well, that's the whole thing. The whole thing is nuclear. What do they do with the radioactive dust or the nuclear dust? What do they do with, you know, all of that enriched uranium? So it's like, I don't know where they're getting this. Hey, we've almost got a deal. We don't almost have a deal. Now, we may end up with perhaps a 30 to 60 day, you know, ceasefire. The Strait of Hormuz is open, perhaps, but we don't know what is going to happen. And every time there is an announcement like, hey, we are close to an agreement and we have agreements on this, and this, Iran would come back out over the weekend and they would say, well, no, we have not agreed to that. We have not agreed to that. And we have not agreed to that. And that's why for me, I'm seeing all of these headlines saying that a deal is near, and it's really not. This is Fox News.
Forces target missile launch sites and boats in southern Iran. CENTCOM describes it as self-defense strikes. The strikes were conducted in an area of Bandar Abbas, where Iran's main naval base is located. Sources say the U.S. strikes are over and were defensive in nature and not an effort to break the ceasefire. But earlier today, President Trump said negotiations with Iran are, quote, proceeding nicely, but warns the war could restart if a deal isn't reached.
So I want to make sure I got this right. So we're bombing each other, but negotiations are going nicely. Now, if you miss what happened, I guess this was in the last 24 hours, maybe overnight, whatever. But we caught Iran, I guess, placing some mines in the Strait of Hormuz as we're supposedly negotiating with them, and they're negotiating in good faith. Are they really negotiating in good faith? If they're dropping a bunch of mines in the Strait of Hormuz that we're trying to open back up, we've got past stories where Iran is like, we don't even know where all of our mines are. So I love that we catch Iran placing mines in the Strait of Hormuz, so we blast them. And apparently, and I heard Jones' newscast at the top of the hour at 5 o'clock, where now they are, of course, returning fire, which is fine. But how many times do we have to ask the question, is Iran negotiating in good faith? As we are in the midst of negotiating, they're laying mines? I mean, it's not real surprising. This is what Iran does. I mean, the deal that was much discussed over the weekend is still being hashed around and talked about this morning, hashed out and talked about this morning. U.S. says that Iran must give up their nuclear dust or enriched uranium. They say that they won't. Actually, I saw a headline this morning, and Joan fact-checked me on anything that I'm saying. But I guess Iran said, no, we're not going to give up our nuclear dust. We are saying that not only will they be giving up their nuclear dust, but that enriched uranium is going to be taken to another nation and destroyed. So how do you have, again, we're getting close. Negotiations are progressing nicely, President Trump says, yet we are not even close to an agreement on some of the basics of this deal. U.S. says that the Strait of Hormuz must be reopened and not controlled by Iran. Iran says they'll never agree to that. All right. U.S. says that Iran must stop any nuclear ambitions. Iran says that they'll never give up their nuclear ambitions. Iran says they want reparations for the war. Trump says no way. So, I mean, I don't know. For me, you know what? Hey, let's do a Daily Dan poll. Sam, let's do a Daily Dan poll and help me with the wording, Joan. So do you believe the talks with Iran are, and I'm going to air quote this, progressing nicely? And listen, I'm not bashing Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants a deal more than anybody. Trust me on that one. But I would question whether or not these discussions are progressing nicely. Joan, would you say these discussions are progressing nicely?
I am baffled by all of this.
Okay, so it's not just me.
Yeah.
Like, who is just, I mean, it's the Trump administration saying that talks are progressing nicely. Okay. I would be curious to know how Iran, have they come out and said, as they're laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz, have they come out and said that the talks are progressing nicely? I don't know if they have or not, but I mean, it stands to reason that if you're laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz, if you're close to opening up the Strait of Hormuz, then why would you bother laying mines, right? I mean, that can't just be me thinking about that. Anyway, it is 5:16. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Okay, so we still have that problem this morning. As you make your way 24 westbound and you round the curve onto 40, there's an accident in the left lane. Be careful as you round that merge this morning. Also, another one in Avondale on West Trinity Lane at I-65. That one involves some injuries as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. As far as your weather goes, considerable cloudiness today, humid, with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high of 77. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. I don't mean to be, am I being a Danny Downer this morning, Joan? I mean, it's a Tuesday. It's a 4-day work week. I'm a little cynical about all of this, coverage where supposedly a deal is near. I don't see it. Here's more. This is a part of what is going on, despite all of the rather optimistic news out there this morning. There are some signs of progress, it would appear. Not from America, by the way, but this is from Iran. Listen to this.
Iran says a degree of understanding has been reached with the U.S. as the country's president has ordered some internet service to be restored. Both sides say it's a work in progress. As talks continue to effort a roadmap for resolving remaining issues, here's where those talks stand. Now, Iran will be required to open the Strait of Hormuz, as well as ending fees and restrictions on commercial shipping. There will be limits on uranium enrichment that has to be discussed, and follow-up talks would need to address enriched uranium stockpiles. It would also need to take an active role in a broader regional de-escalation. The U.S. is holding firm on a few key points. First and foremost, no sanctions relief before verified Iranian steps, and to focus on turning a temporary framework into a final agreement. At least for now, nuclear terms remain unresolved.
Nuclear terms remain unresolved. Now, again, I'm cynical. First off, again, nuclear issues are unresolved. That is the whole debate, that the whole thing is about nuclear issues. One of, if not the biggest issue here is, what's agreed to and what's not agreed to. And by the way, here's the other thing. Iran can agree to anything. But transparency is key. And when I did that Red Eye radio show over the weekend, that was one of my biggest messages was, okay, so Iran can agree to anything, but what is the transparency? That is the biggest deal. They can say, okay, well, we'll go ahead and we'll not work on any nuclear weapons. We'll go ahead and stop any enrichment of uranium. All of that will just stop. We'll enrich uranium only to 3.5%, not up to the 60% where we have been. But how do we confirm that? Now, that was one of the big issues with Obama's deal back in 2015, right? There was all of these promises made, but no real transparency by Iran. The deal was also, by the way, back in 2015 with Obama, that deal was allowed to sunset, which would ultimately mean that Iran would be able to go back to building bombs if they weren't already. We wouldn't really know because there wasn't any transparency in the deal. Remember, they wouldn't let the inspectors in. They wouldn't allow the inspectors to go where the inspectors needed to go. And so Donald Trump's whole point on all of this, this is the big difference. Donald Trump's whole point with this deal, and what's the biggest issue and what's the biggest difference between Obama's deal and Trump's deal, is that Trump wants Iran to go legit. He wants to allow them to sell oil on the open market. He wants Iran to feel and experience the selling of oil on the open market, of competing and thriving on the world stage and getting some credibility. And it's Donald Trump's hope, and it's a great hope, that once they find that success, once they find that respect, and once they find that credibility on the world stage, they will enjoy the fruits of oil production and legitimacy, and all will be good in the Middle East. Now, what would they have to do? What more is involved in this deal?
As for Iran, it could get phased sanctions relief, easing of the U.S. blockade measures, expanded oil and trade access, and a path towards broader economic normalization. President Trump today saying for that normalization to happen, our Gulf allies should join in. He wrote on Truth Social this: negotiations with the Islamic Republic of Iran are proceeding nicely. It will only be a great deal for all or no deal at all. I am mandatorily requesting that all countries immediately sign the Abraham Accords, and that if Iran signs its agreement with me as President of the United States of America, it would be an honor to have them also be a part of this unparalleled world coalition. The Middle East would be united, powerful, and economically strong like perhaps no other area in the world.
So President Trump, go big or go home. I don't know if you heard that, Joan. So now he wants more Middle Eastern nations to sign on to the Abraham Accords. So you're talking about Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, and Jordan. Jordan joining the Abraham Accords as he tries to get this done. And apparently Saudi Arabia and some of these other nations, Pakistan has already said there's no way in heck we're signing on to the Abraham Accords. A lot of these nations, some details of the call leaked, and there was just silence on the other end of the phone where President Trump was like, are you guys still there? I mean, that's how shocked they were that in the midst of all of this negotiation with Iran and all of these Middle Eastern nations are trying to get this deal done with Iran, suddenly President Trump throws in, by the way, y'all need to sign on to the Abraham Accords as well. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of folks that are out there criticizing the president for this. I've got that part of the story coming up. It is 5:23. By the way, the Daily Dan poll, we threw one out there early on. How did we word the Daily Dan poll, Sam, and what are the results?
Do you believe talks with Iran are progressing nicely? Your options were yes, no, and I don't care, blow them up. Yes, at 3% of the vote. No, at 64% of the vote. And I don't care, blow them up, coming in with 33% of the vote.
Do you know what's so funny about that? Joan, the best part about that is all of 3%.
One person.
Is that one person?
Based on the total number of votes at this point in time, yes.
So one person, Joan, out of how many? So how many people? It's early. So how many people voted?
34.
Okay, so all of 34 people voted, and 33 said they're not progressing nicely, and 1% said they are progressing nicely. And listen, if you're the one person, I'm not, bashing or anything. I just find it interesting that this is a very pro-Trump audience. I must be honest. It is. It's a very pro-Trump audience. And I don't think anybody's calling Donald Trump a liar. I think that the president is doing everything that he can to ensure that these talks go nicely. But the reality is that if you've been paying attention to this story and you're watching what we're doing, we're watching what Iran is saying in response to what we're saying, it's just clear that these talks are not progressing nicely, in my opinion, especially after you catch Iran laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz and we start bombing Iran. Where are you at, Joan? Are you at I don't care, just bomb the living crap out of them?
I am.
So that's kind of where
I don't like that's what I wish for, but I'm tired of this. And I thought it was supposed to be short. And I thought the gas prices were about to come down any second now. I'm done with it. I'm done with the up and down. It feels like a roller coaster ride. And Dan, I support the president.
Yes,
in this.
me too, Joan.
But it's time. This is how we get into the quagmires. This is the explanation that happens okay, we're not doing it because of this. I'm not eating that stuff. I'm not taking it.
By the way, we found the one.
The one?
7706 calling me. I'm impatient and greedy.
Well, Dan.
How am I impatient?
I mean,
you're not giving peace a chance.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone's blaming Trump at this point. I think, if anything, you blame him for, okay, quit, chicken footing around with people who aren't serious.
That's exactly right, Sam. I think that the frustration lies in the fact that at some point you have to use force. You have to use strength. You have to use our military to basically get Iran back in line. I think it is clear what they're doing. They are delaying. That's what they're doing. I don't know why he says that I'm greedy, but whatever.
Unleash the alien technology on those sons of guns. Do it.
Listen, if I were greedy, I would want this war to continue forever because it would be show content every single day. And that's good for me.
You wouldn't. You'd be driven mad.
I would be driven mad.
We'd find you in your basement dead from bashing your head against the wall.
All right. I got to go. 5:26. Jones got the news at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, we'll take a look into a local Memorial Day ceremony. Also, there's a big vote that's taking place in Texas today. Details coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning, 5:31 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We'll have rain clearing out this morning, but you can expect cloudy skies and some spotty showers this afternoon. Our high goes up near 80 degrees today. Memorial Day services held across the Nashville region yesterday, including in Ashland City, where the community laid wreaths to honor the county's fallen heroes. And U.S. Congressman Matt Van Epps addressed the crowd.
This is what we have to keep doing. We have to honor and tell the stories of those who paid that ultimate sacrifice, who gave the last full measure of devotion so that we all could be here.
Van Epps says that his father served in Vietnam and gives him a constant reminder to stand beside the veterans who remain. Voters in Texas will head to the polls today. They'll cast votes in that GOP runoff election that pits U.S. Senator John Cornyn against Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who, by the way, has President Trump's endorsement.
The president cares deeply about his endorsement and the power it has in Republican politics. We saw this last week where he and his allies handpicked somebody to run against a critic of his, Thomas Massie, and really destroyed Massie, ended his political career. So we understand that private polling that Republicans have seen has shown Paxton pulling ahead. This is something that was probably not lost on the president.
That's ABC's Ben Siegel there. Now, while voting with the president, most of the time, John Cornyn refused to get behind President Trump's claims of a stolen election in 2020. In New Jersey, Governor Mikey Sherrill attempted to gain access to an ICE detention facility without prior notice, and she was denied.
We've been working with ICE to get into the facility. I was just denied that this morning. I was hoping well, we certainly will, and that's what I've committed to doing, is continuing to try to do that.
DHS says only federal officials have the right to enter without prior notice. They call Sherrill's attempt a staged event for the press. Cheryl's threatening to get that facility closed down for good. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, so we have some problems this morning in Avondale. It's on West Trinity Lane at I-65. There's a crash. It involves some injuries. Pretty slow, too, on 24 westbound. And as you get to the merge there with 40, things are very slow. Previous accident in that spot. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTM.
As far as your weather goes, I guess we don't have weather yet from Stefano DiPietro.
Oh, we do. I just forgot to send it to you.
Come on, man.
So
considerable cloudiness and humid with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. High of 77 is what, we usually have a little pre-recorded Stefano thing there, but I guess
Not until after 6 o'clock.
Not till 6 o'clock? Okay, very good. Has that always been the case? I've been 5 years on this show. Apparently, I don't even know how it runs.
Yep.
Okay, good. Real quick. So take the phones off hold. Watch this, John.
Oh, man. Now you did it.
If you are a parent of Centennial High School or Franklin High School in Williamson County, and your kids had to graduate in that mess of a rainstorm, I'm dying to talk to you. Phone lines are open, 615-737-9986. I don't know, it's pretty early, so I don't know if anybody's going to call, but
they will. They just won't be parents if Williamson County graduates.
Well, whatever. Anyway, yeah, if you are a parent of Williamson County, Franklin High School, or Centennial High School, if your kids graduated and you have a reaction to what happened with the rain, call me because I want to know what your reaction is. So anyway, 615-737-9986. I'll probably do this a little bit later on when more people are listening. But anyway, so back to the whole Iran thing. Sam, real quick. Where are we at with the Daily Dan poll? The question was, do you believe Donald Trump keeps saying that things are progressing nicely and negotiations are progressing nicely? I don't believe that they are. And so I decided to, in my infinite wisdom, do a Daily Dan poll. And apparently a lot of folks agree with me and Joan.
Well, okay, who do you think added the third option of I don't care, blow them up? Do you believe talks with Iran are progressing nicely? I don't care, blow them up, 39% of the vote. No, 59% of the vote. And yes is back up to 3%.
Way to go, yes, 3%. And I think part of this, do you know what I think part of this is? Part of this is that President Trump and others keep talking about how we're close to a deal. We're close to a deal. We're close to a deal. A lot of people on the super text line are like, dude, just stop it already. Just stop it already. Because we're tired of having the, whole Lucy, Charlie Brown, the football thing, the football pulled away as Charlie Brown tries to kick it through the uprights. That's what it feels like. And so, unfortunately, now the president is losing credibility. By the way, one person said astutely enough, Iran is negotiating like they are in a position of strength when clearly they are not in a position of strength. And so we'll continue to cover that. One of the things that I thought was interesting was President Trump suddenly deciding that he wanted all of these other nations in the Middle East to join in on the Abraham Accords. Now, that came out of, I don't know about you, but that seemed to come out of nowhere. Pakistan has already said not only no, but heck no. And Saudi Arabia is pretty much the same thing. As I was telling you before the break, President Trump, he talks about this on this call, very important call, with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan. And the president said that we need to get all of you, these nations, to join into the Abraham Accords. And just kind of throwing that out there, as in my opinion, the negotiations with Iran are not going well. And now we've got another thing that we've got to deal with. Now, as a reminder, the Abraham Accords are the normalization of relations between Israel and a lot of these other Middle Eastern countries. This was, in Donald Trump's first term, one of his biggest accomplishments, maybe even his biggest accomplishment. He's got several Middle Eastern countries to sign on already, including you've got Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Sudan, and Morocco. And so you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be saying that this is another gimme for Israel. That's what people are going to say. Because remember that part of the Abraham Accords is you have all of these Middle Eastern nations actually doing business with Israel. And so this does give people who are always complaining about Israel and Donald Trump is listening to Benjamin Netanyahu and, all that kind of stuff. This just gives them more fodder. By the way, the president also wants Iran to join the Abraham Accords. Are you kidding me? Iran still doesn't feel like Israel even has a right to exist. Now suddenly they're going to sign on to the Abraham Accords? I mean, obviously, I don't know why the president would expect Iran to do this, but this is part of the reporting.
The president writes, during my discussions on Saturday, I stated that after all the work done by the United States to try and pull this very complex puzzle together, it should be mandatory that all of these countries, at a minimum, simultaneously sign on to the Abraham Accords. Those countries discussed are Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and Bahrain. Most should be ready, willing, and able to make this settlement with Iran a far more historic event than it would otherwise be if Iran signs its agreement with me as President of the United States of America. It will be an honor to have them also be part of this unparalleled world coalition.
So there you go. President Trump, you know what? Here's the deal. President Trump, you know that the man swings for the fences. Go big or go home. And if the president thinks that he can get this done, then okay. By the way, remember that Egypt, Jordan, and Turkey, right now they already have some semblance of relations and relationship with Israel, so they wouldn't be so hard. From reading all of this, Saudi Arabia, that's going to be difficult. Iran, I think that's going to be next to impossible, and I believe that throwing that in, I think, is just going to complicate an already very complicated situation. Remember, by the way, in listening to the reporting and what Donald Trump literally said, he said that Donald Trump said that these nations should be signing on to the Abraham Accords and not absolutely requiring it. So I don't know, to be perfectly honest, I don't know how strongly President feels about this. The president feels about this. Again, Pakistan has already said, no way. Apparently, according to Axios, when the president said this, hey, Sam, get the crickets ready. Apparently, when Donald Trump said that all you nations need to be signing on to the Abraham Accords to get this all fully done, the reaction was to the point where President Trump actually said, are they still there? That was the reaction. Are they still there? I don't know why I find that so funny, but I mean, listen, they were shocked. They were as shocked as I was when I read it. Now, here's my deal. As long as this doesn't hold up the opening of the Strait of Hormuz and he can make this work, awesome. I have faith in Donald Trump. I do. If there's anybody that could get Iran to sign on to the Abraham Accords, it is Donald Trump. They'll be the greatest Abraham Accords ever. Bottom line is they're looking for short-term and long-term agreements, get the Hormuz open, then longer negotiations will ultimately take place. We'll have to see where all of this goes. Any parents call from Centennial or Franklin High School as of yet? No, not yet. 615-737-9986. Hey, real quick, can I just, Joan pointed this out to me earlier today, and I find this kind of funny. So we have all of these, this controversy regarding what happened with Centennial High School and also Franklin High School. These, poor kids having to sit there in the rain. I think the story of these kids graduating in the rain, I think that that's only part of the conversation. The bigger conversation is how these parents are reacting to it, because I think that there are some parents who are reacting just a little extra, and this could be actually a great thing for your kids to have to endure and go through because, sometimes life does have challenges. So we'll talk about that at some point. But, Joan, have you seen what's going on in some of these schools where you've got, and I have some video here, if I could, Sam. And Sam, you're on social media a lot more than I am, actually. Have you seen the trend of these students and what they're doing? I have to describe for people listening on the radio, where at these graduation ceremonies, and these are mostly black students, and they are just, it's almost like a Justin Pearson dance. And you got like hundreds of Justin Pearson dancers where they're just, I don't know what you call that kind of dancing. It's not twerking. Twerking is a little bit more sexual, actually a lot of more sexual. But they're flailing about as they graduate. And I don't know if they're disrupting the graduation or if this is their version of throwing their caps in the air.
It's the latter. Ladder there.
It's the latter?
Yep.
Okay, so
there's a lot of urban high school graduations that conclude in this kind of manner.
Is this a new thing?
Insane.
No.
Can I just say the funny
thing? It's
thing?
been going on for about 20 years.
Can I just say the funny thing is that they are getting all excited over a diploma where a lot of these kids probably as they graduate high school cannot read past 5th grade level.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like you're dancing over a piece of paper that is literally for a lot of you actually pretty worthless. And by the way, if this is how you're acting at a high school graduation, I wouldn't be surprised if you're reading it at 5th grade level. I think this is silly, immature behavior. I get it. I'm 58. I'm an adult. Get off my lawn. Whatever.
Well, here's the thing: is if it stopped at the high school graduation level, that would be one thing. But this happens at college graduations, both undergrad and graduate degrees as well.
And I'm also seeing the fights in the stands.
Oh, that happened actually at a Tennessee high school. We went viral for that.
Yeah.
Who's fighting?
A high school graduation. Apparently a fight broke out among some people.
Like
Ripley,
parents?
Tennessee, I believe.
Where?
Ripley,
Tennessee. I don't even know where that is.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so I find this silly. If this is what they want to do, knock yourselves out. I think that number one, I think with the level of their education, with their degree that they have and their reading comprehension, their math comprehension and everything else, there is no reason for them to be dancing. That's number one. And I would be saying that if the students were white. I mean, let's just be honest. High schools these days, the level of education in our country is not good. That's number one. Number two, you know what? Act like you belong. Do you know what I mean? Like, whenever you see these, and this is, again, get off my lawn, but when I see all of these athletes and on the sports, on football field or whatever, and they score a touchdown and they act the fools, it's the same thing. Act like you belong. I don't know, did Derrick Henry ever do stupidity like this? I like the football players who just flip the ball to the ref. Yep, I belong. Tom Landry, now I'm going way old.
Yeah, now you're doing it.
Stop it, Joan. Tom Landry, the coach for the Cowboys, whenever the Cowboys would score a touchdown, he would be like, while a lot of the players are going crazy, he would just stand there walking the sideline with his arms crossed because, you know why? Because he said, yeah, that was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Why am I going to, cheer crazily when this was all done by design?
These students feel empowered to be as selfish as they can possibly be.
I think they just look dumb.
Grabbing the spotlight for themselves. But the problem is that it's going to carry over into their adult lives. These are the people that you're going to see demanding that they be the first in line, demanding that they receive things that they don't deserve. They're the ones that are going to end up being the most selfish people you'll meet in your life. And it's because their parents don't tell them that they're not all that special.
Which is how we lead to these teen takeover trends,
Yes,
right? In D.C.
yes.
and Chicago and everything, where we feel like we can just walk into the subway and get whatever we want, and if we don't like it, we'll end up fighting each other. And
so 4702 says there was a brawl at a graduation in West Tennessee. Is that what you were talking about?
I believe so.
Because I have not seen a brawl.
I think it was one of them that I sent you in the stack.
Oh, Joan sent me a big stack of stuff.
Yeah, Lauderdale County. Multiple fights broke out during Ripley's high school graduation ceremony in the gymnasium, turning celebration into chaos with adults and others involved. Videos show people fighting in the stands, chairs overturned, and disruptions during the event.
Why were they fighting, does it say?
It just says that the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office reviewed video footage to identify suspects, and they put a countywide 10 p.m. curfew in place immediately afterward for public safety. 5 were taken into custody, and 9 were wanted. But over the weekend, pretty much everyone, including adults and juveniles that was wanted, ended up in custody. The charges were primarily inciting a riot and disorderly conduct, with one adult charged with bringing a child to the fight.
All right. Starting off adulthood on the right track, it would appear.
Yeah.
Joan, you sent me like 10. I don't know which one it is.
There was so much meat from this story.
Do you remember when Joan, when you and I were graduating high school and the big drama was, whether or not you would actually be able to graduate, if you had all your credits or what have you?
I thought you were going to say the big drama was the wheel was invented.
What a wise guy.
That's good. That's good, Sam. Screw you, and that's very funny. 5:54, Joan's got the news at 6. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, what Metro Nashville police are launching today to help them better prepare for emergencies. Pretty interesting story. It's coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you've got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit. We have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you don't have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
5:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So apparently everybody is having their fun with my age on the, where is that? Is that the Super Text line?
Yeah.
So what are people saying? Because I was joking. What did you say, Sam? You said people were...
You said, Joan, remember the big drama for us in high school when it came to graduation was, and you were talking about how whether or not people know they were going to graduate. And I was like, no, I thought it was the wheel being invented.
Right. Now people are chiming in and saying...
Ron, when Dan graduated, the big debate was fire. Is it good or bad?
Nice. Good.
Jason, Dan's credits were carved on a cave wall.
All right, good. By the way, real quick, in Ripley, Tennessee, we on the video, if you're watching on video, there is a brawl, several different fights breaking out at a graduation there. And I don't know, from what I understand, it may have, and I don't know if you know what the inspiration to these fights were, Joan, but somebody says that it was over like a seat.
Yeah, it was in the stands.
It was in the stands?
Me. Yeah.
All right.
Insanity.
What do you do? Like, what do you even say to behavior like this?
Yeah.
It's just whatever. Okay. It is 6 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 6 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Metro Nashville police are beginning a new drone program today. Here's Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac.
The department is launching what's called a drone as first responder. This is a pilot program, and 3 drones will launch from the roof of the Madison precinct and then respond to certain emergency calls within about a 2-mile radius. And police say that the drones could help during active investigations, missing person searches, and major crashes as well.
Sending out a drone first, police say, will help them to know what to expect when officers arrive on the scene. The trial will last for about 45 days. A crash last night on I-24 westbound has ended in tragedy. This was near Old Hickory Boulevard. It involved 4 cars, one of them overturned. A man was killed and 2 others transported to hospitals. All the westbound lanes are now open. The Deep South is still bracing for a new round of heavy rain and thunderstorms following some damaging storms over the holiday weekend.
A suspected tornado slamming into the ABC station in Dothan, Alabama. Security cameras catching the moment one employee tried to leave the building when the glass wall started shaking before a glass pane was smashed and sucked into the storm. Several nearby homes damaged, but no injuries reported.
That's ABC's Lindsay Tuckman reporting those storms turned deadly near Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and in South Carolina. The Gorge at Cummings Falls State Park in Cookeville is now open this morning, but don't expect to go swimming there. State officials say the gorge is prone to flash flooding, and all the rain this past week makes swimming unsafe. You'll need a pass to enter the gorge. You can buy them at the gift shop every day until 4 p.m. And just a reminder that the T-Dot holiday is now over and lane closures begin once again starting at this hour. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
New U.S. missile strikes on Iran Monday have dampened hopes for an impending end to the broader conflict. As a result, oil prices have bounced nearly 3%. Benchmark Brent crude was closing in on $100 a barrel overnight. Wall Street's investors returned to the trading pit this morning, intent on continuing last week's run for the record book. The Dow cruises into the holiday-shortened week higher by nearly 300 points. S&P and NASDAQ futures also were looking up. Ferrari has powered up its first all-electric car. The four-door Luce was developed with the help of iPhone designer Johnny Ive. It'll go on sale later this year for about $640,000. Shares in Ferrari fell 6% after the launch. What serves as a side hustle for many is serious business to others. Now drivers for Uber and Lyft in Massachusetts have decided to form a union. The App Drivers Union says it will represent nearly 70,000 people in collective bargaining. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures all pointing up with the Dow futures plus 267 right now. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Pretty serious accident in Clarksville on 24 westbound past the Martin Luther King Parkway exit. It's number 11. Careful in that area. It's also just pretty wet on the roads this morning. We do have rainstorms that are continuing to move through the area, will be all morning long. You may need a few extra moments on the roads. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.606 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and hope you are doing well and welcome on in. It is Tuesday, May 26th of 2026, and it is a wet and rainy Tuesday. We are finding out more about the dropping of the human smuggling case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia here in the state of Tennessee. Matt talked about this on Friday as the story came down. This is insane. I want you to remember, now I'm just going to let you know where we're going. This is an activist judge, Obama-appointed judge, that has now decided to ignore the evidence against Kilmar Abrego Garcia. There's literally video, and you folks that have been listening to me for a minute, you know that we've shown you the video. I played you the audio. There is video of Kilmar Abrego Garcia with 8 guys in his car. They were pulled over here in Tennessee back in November of 2022. He was clearly transporting these guys. He was clearly trafficking them. Do you know what these 8 had on their person? A toothbrush. Nothing else. They had no luggage. They couldn't speak English. Nothing. And Garcia said, I'm taking them from Texas to Maryland through St. Louis. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's a ticket. Best part about this whole thing was Garcia pretended to not speak English. Remember that part of the video? He was speeding, by the way, expired license. And the car that he was driving belonged to an illegal alien and a convicted human trafficker. And Kilmar Abrego Garcia called him the boss, yet this judge decided to ignore all of that evidence and decided to drop the charges, decided to drop the case. I mean, the troopers knew that Garcia was trafficking. Garcia knew that he was trafficking. The Biden-era FBI at the time ordered Tennessee state troopers to release Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
The Justice Department says it will appeal the dismissal of a human smuggling case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the illegal immigrant from El Salvador who became a centerpiece of anti-immigration enforcement furor. A judge has granted a motion from Abrego Garcia alleging selective or vindictive prosecution. Federal officials deported Abrego Garcia to his home country, but were ordered to return him to the U.S. White House officials contend Abrego Garcia is a violent gang member and human trafficker. Officials have vowed to deport him to a third country.
So that is from, of course, Fox News. So despite all the evidence, the judge simply said, nope, vindictive prosecution. Now, as I do a little bit of research on this, apparently a judge can just say, oh, yeah, you know what? The evidence doesn't matter. If the judge deems a prosecution vindictive, then he could just drop the case. An Obama-appointed district judge named Waverly Crenshaw deemed this whole thing vindictive prosecution, and the case here in Tennessee has been dropped. Now, you just heard Brett Baer say that this is ultimately going to be appealed, and that's a good thing. Remember that Garcia was picked up as an MS-13 gang member in Maryland. Remember this whole thing? They called him a Maryland man, but he was actually an MS-13 gang member and an illegal alien. This was a guy who his wife accused him of spousal abuse, the whole thing. Local authorities said in Maryland, said that he was affiliated with the MS-13 gang and that he was deported back to El Salvador, where he was from. The Trump administration admitted that deporting him back to El Salvador, that was, I think they called it a clerical error, some sort of an administrative error. I think they said it was an administrative error because an immigration judge had earlier blocked the government from sending him back because, listen to this, rival gang members might kill him. So he said that he wasn't a gang member. Yet at the same time, he said that other rival gangs might kill me. So he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. Supreme Court, by the way, as you probably know, in a unanimous decision, actually did say that the administration had to facilitate his return to the U.S., and so he came back. But now, this Judge Waverly Crenshaw says that it was vindictive prosecution because this whole case embarrassed the Trump administration, he says. So they brought these other charges of human trafficking against him because this was a case that embarrassed the Trump administration. So they said basically, okay, you know what then? Here's what we're going to do. If that's your stance, if we're going to be forced to bring you back, then vindictively, we're going to bring these charges of human trafficking against you. But here's the deal. It seems to me that the story of Abrego Garcia transporting these at least 8 illegal aliens through Tennessee came about after a closer look at who this guy was. That's part of what happened, is this guy suddenly became in the news, and then we realized, oh, wow, we pulled him. By the way, Tennessee Star, Michael Patrick Leahy, Tennessee Star, was all about this. And so they discover that he had been pulled over in the state of Tennessee with all of these illegal aliens in his car, transporting them to Maryland. And so he's in the news. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is in the news, and then you realize, oh my goodness, look what happened in Tennessee. That's why, in my opinion, they brought the charges. But as the judge laid out his case, his justification for dismissing the case, according to the Tennessee Star, he left out a whole bunch of critical information. Waverly Crenshaw, the Tennessee Star, took a closer look at the judge's ruling, laying out his case for dismissing the charges, and discovered that there is a lot of missing information in the judge's timeline. By the way, basically, conveniently, part of what was missing was the fact that Abrego Garcia's vehicle had been seen at various spots around the country. So it seems to me, based on the other evidence of driving a bunch of non-English speaking illegal aliens with no luggage around in a vehicle owned by a convicted by an illegal alien and a convicted human smuggler, that would be relevant, that Abrego Garcia's car had been spotted all across the country. The judge decided to conveniently leave that out of his justification. He also left out part where it was the Biden-era FBI that ordered the Tennessee Highway Patrol to release him, despite the clear evidence that he was transporting illegal aliens. And so in this document, in this affidavit or whatever it is that you want to call it, that this judge put together justifying dropping the charges here in Tennessee, he left out a bunch of very relevant information. And so the Tennessee Star pointing out that a lot of this is relevant. And the more that you look at this information that Waverly Crenshaw left out, the more you realize that he didn't want to even acknowledge that this evidence existed, because if he were to acknowledge the rest of this evidence that he left out, or the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say, then it would be even more abundantly clear that Waverly Crenshaw, this judge, deciding to drop these human trafficking charges against Kilmar Abrego Garcia in the state of Tennessee, that it was even more of a travesty of justice. I've got a little bit more on this. It is 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, considerable cloudiness, humid today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high of 77. Talking about this judge in Nashville deciding to drop these charges of human smuggling against Kilmar Abrego Garcia, despite ample evidence, the judge basically deciding, oh, well, this was vindictive prosecution. And because this was vindictive prosecution, then none of the evidence apparently was relevant, which is crazy to me. From what I can tell, even if there is evidence that Abrego Garcia was indeed human trafficking, which he was, if the judge decided it was vindictive prosecution, the evidence doesn't matter. Just the reasoning for bringing the case matters. I mean, that is amazing to me.
Which is ironic because the entire reasoning for the case was that SCOTUS ruled he couldn't be deported. So there's no reason to pursue the charges if we're just going to simply deport him and save the taxpayers money on his federal case. But since it was ruled he had to come back to the country, well, then we're going to prosecute
bring
him
the cases
because we have the evidence.
Charges. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, and it's interesting, too, because just as this judge says that this was vindictive prosecution by the Trump administration, I could also claim that these judges are letting this guy go and dropping the charges because these are vindictive decisions that are being made by these judges. Think about it. This case became such a lightning rod of controversy because the media made this case emblematic of Trump's mass deportation efforts. And by the way, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is being represented, remember this, by some really high-powered attorneys in Washington, D.C., paid for by several nonprofits. Same people, by the way, that were behind the E. Jean Carroll case against Donald Trump. Abrego Garcia's defense attorneys include the founder of Heckler Fink, the New York-based law firm which previously represented former advice columnist E. Jean Carroll in her civil case against President Donald Trump. So the more that you read on this story, the more frustrating it is because, and I just went through it. I mean, I don't know how more plain you can be that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was trafficking these guys through the state of Tennessee. He got pulled over. Nobody speaks English, including Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who is on, I guess, an expired license in a car that is owned by a guy who is an illegal alien, who is a convicted human smuggler. Abrego Garcia said that this guy is my boss, and on it goes. Unflippin' believable. It is 6:19 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The top of my stack of stories this morning is the latest going on in Iran. I talked about this extensively in the first hour. We have a lot of folks within the Trump administration, Donald Trump himself even saying that we are close to a deal. We're close to a deal. And it does seem to me, my very cynical self, I don't think that we're close to a deal at all. And I don't believe that Iran is actually negotiating in good faith, because part of Joan and I, both of us, we're reporting this morning that overnight we caught Iran, and over the weekend we caught Iran laying even more mines, like 10 mines in the Strait of Hormuz. So we bombed them. So as they're supposedly negotiating in good faith, we catch them laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Does that sound like negotiating in good faith to you? So what I want you to do, watch us on YouTube, watch us on Facebook, watch us on 99.7 WTN.com, Twitter, Twitch, X, whatever, like all the places. We have a Daily Dan poll. The Daily Dan poll is...
Do you believe talks with Iran are progressing nicely? Options were yes, no, and I don't care, blow them up. No, leading at 53% of the vote. I don't care, blow them up at 40% of the vote. And yes, it's 7% of the vote.
So there's a lot of folks that are saying, and I'm one of them, because Donald Trump keeps talking about how negotiations are progressing nicely. The reality is that every time we say, oh, yeah, we've come to terms on this, Iran comes back out and says, oh, no, we never agreed to that. And when I talked about this in the 5 o'clock hour, you had a lot of people on the super text line saying, Donald Trump, love him, support him. We want him to do well, but he needs to stop talking about how well the negotiations are going, because every time he does, Iran comes back and they basically say, oh, no, they're not. You're lying. And we didn't agree to this. We didn't agree to that. And it really is becoming very dispiriting for people who are Donald Trump supporters and people who do want to see this war end.
Yeah, and on the Kilmore-Abrego-Garcia front, I just wanted to double check on this whole vindictive prosecution thing. And basically, no, the judge cannot ignore any evidence, especially if it's overwhelming. And the thing that had to be proven by the defense was an actual presumption of vindictiveness, which is typically, if you're trying to exercise some kind of right, your right to an appeal, your right to, I want to change counsel, and now they're adding a charge because you're, that would be vindictive prosecution. Whereas, I'm bouncing this around in AI, and basically we're hopefully get a judge that has some sense about them, and we'll get a appeal ruling in the favor of the State Department that would basically say that, Crenshaw, you abused your judiciary discretion.
Well, I mean, it seems to me he clearly did. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get...
Have we heard yet that the Justice Department is going to appeal this?
Yes, they are appealing.
Okay.
Yeah, they have within 30 days, and I'm pretty sure they went to the courthouse the next day.
I was going to say, man, they were at the courthouse the next hour. Because clearly, Kilmore-Abrego-Garcia, clearly he was transporting these illegal aliens. That is obvious. I just laid out, it's not even all the evidence, but just some of the evidence that is there that Abrego-Garcia was transporting these illegal aliens. So but here's a shocker. You've got a Democrat judge seems to me, ignoring the rule of law. So this is pretty much par for the course for the Democrats. Got to go. 6:23. Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. Joan.
Yeah, NASCAR fans still rocked by the death of Kyle Busch as some of those famous car races took place over the weekend. We've got details coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is Tuesday, May 26th, and that means that a lot of June brides may be getting anxious. Maybe you simply have a wedding to participate in or going to. You want to look your best, and Contours LLC in Cool Springs, they can help you. They are experts in red light technology, and it does get rid of body fat quickly, effectively, and painlessly. The FDA has cleared it, and it's all the rage these days, red light technology. Now, both Matt and I have been going to Contours. We love it. We've seen results, and you will too. Now, I can't tell you how amazing it is to be able to fit into my old clothes again. Losing a couple of inches around your waist is going to go a long way in building your attitude and confidence. Now, Contours LLC is the only med spa I know that guarantees that you're going to lose 2 inches across 6 measurements on that first visit, or it is free. It's a pretty good guarantee. They perform or you don't pay. And pay? Well, what about this? You bring the bride and 2 others from the wedding party, and the bride gets a belly buster treatment absolutely free. The others are only going to pay $99 each. So schedule this out a few weeks before the wedding and look and feel your best on that big day. Call them, Contours LLC, 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960, online, contoursllc.com. After all, what have you got to lose but a couple of inches before the wedding? 625 Super Talk 99.7 WTN had a kind of a, what would I call this? It was an interesting experience over the weekend where I found, Joan, you'll love this. I found all of my old pairs of glasses that, of course, I haven't worn now in over a year.
Yeah.
But there's like 4 or 5 pairs of glasses that, I'd had over the years. And it is so nice, obviously, not to wear glasses anymore, thanks to my buddy Jeff Horn and all the folks over there at Vision for Life. I'm going to have almost like a ceremonial video where I throw away all of my old pairs of glasses, thanks to Dr. Horn. Now, so many people, maybe even you, are living with cataracts, and you don't even realize how much it is affecting your everyday life. Now, the good news, the fix is quick. It all begins with a personalized consultation with Dr. Horn at Vision for Life. Dr. Jeff Horn, he is a lifesaver. Now, if you've been dealing with blurry or cloudy vision, glare or halos around lights, colors that just don't seem as bright as they used to, those are all signs of cataracts. And a lot of people, driving becomes difficult for them, even dangerous, especially at night. Some folks even experience double vision in one eye. Now, that's not something that you have to live with. They can help you at Vision for Life. Cataract surgery these days, it is fast, it is painless, and the results can be truly life-changing. So don't wait. Call them 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020, or visit visionforlife.com to schedule your cataract evaluation with Dr. Horn today and find out if you qualify. 615-436-2020, visionforlife.com, and start seeing clearly again.
Good morning. It's now 6:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We've got your forecast and traffic coming up in 5. All eyes are on a property in Whites Creek area this morning where a multi-agency investigation is currently underway. Now, News 2 is reporting officers from the Lebanon Police Department and the FBI are seen at that residence on Clarksville Highway. News 2 reporting that several people in handcuffs have been escorted into the residence. We'll keep an eye on this and bring you any updates as they become available. President Trump's role as kingmaker gets its next test today. ABC's Jim Ryan is in Texas, where a Trump-supported challenger is facing an incumbent U.S. senator in a Republican runoff election.
In the final round of campaign ads, current Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has highlighted President Trump's support.
Trump gives his complete and total endorsement to America First patriot Ken Paxton.
But the incumbent isn't giving up on MAGA voters.
Senator John Cornyn has a proven record of supporting President Trump's agenda. Senator
Cornyn has heavily outspent Paxton to get to today's runoff. Paxton hopes that's outweighed by Trump's latest post on X, in which the president said Cornyn has been, quote, very disloyal to me. Jim Ryan, ABC News in Dallas-Fort Worth.
And there was time to fill as rain delayed the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend. The racing world, of course, still rocked by the death of Kyle Busch. Joe Gibbs spoke fondly of him to reporters during that rain delay.
My life is, for me, is heaven. I know that's where my two boys are. I'm so excited about the fact I know where they are, and I get to spend eternity with them. I'm excited about that for sure.
Daniel Suarez won an emotional rain-shortened 2026 Coca-Cola 600 yesterday, dedicating the victory to the late NASCAR champion Kyle Busch. That is the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 6:32, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here. And there's a lot of ways that we can lose power. You've got ice storms, snow, tornadoes, but there's one surefire way to get your power back on. That is a backup home standby generator from my friends at the Generator Supercenter. Now, they are the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. They do feature turnkey installation, certified electricians and plumbers, maintenance and service after the install, and a whole lot more. Now, let me tell you basically how these things work. The power goes out in your neighborhood. The power in your home turns it right back on thanks to your backup generator. That's right. So all of a sudden, power goes out. Your power in your home is going to turn right back on thanks to your backup generator. And all of a sudden, you are going to have a lot of knocks on your door from neighbors that you haven't seen in years. So if you're one of the many families talking about a backup generator, talk to the pros at the Generator Supercenter. Another reason to love the Generator Supercenter, of course, their generators are made right here in the USA. They'll never leave you in the dark. Financing is available. They are waiting for your call. 615-879-1952. 615-879-1952. Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com. Hey, if you need a new refrigerator, great news. My friends at DT McCall's have extended their Memorial Day savings to June 3rd. Now, what does that mean for you? Well, it means that you can get great savings and rebates on all the best brands. And by the way, that doesn't stop at the fridge. No, they've also got great deals on wall ovens, microwaves, dishwashers, and a whole lot more. At DT McCall's, they are always looking for ways to save you money. That's right. These folks are great Tennesseans. AJ and the rest of the family have as many of their items made right here in Tennessee as possible. Now, they recognize the greatness of the volunteer state, and yes, they want to give you every opportunity to shop local and to save. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. They've got 5 locations across Middle Tennessee. No doubt one near you. Again, tell them Dan told you to reach out. Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin, always online, dtmccalls.com. Remember, I was a customer long before I was an endorser. I've got multiple appliances in my home from DT McCall's. It's a great company. Don't forget that Memorial Day special extended to June 3rd. Save on all kinds of appliances. Details online at their website, dtmccalls.com.
Got a crash on southbound 65 in Talbot's Corner. It's on the left shoulder just past I-24. Also, Bellevue Park, 70 southbound at Colas Jean Road. That's a crash there involving injuries. In Clarksville, 24 East, a crash reported at Rossview Road and also in Clarksville on 24 West, just past Martin Luther King Parkway. Another crash reported in that spot. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.638, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I like it.
Keith Whitley.
Yes, Keith Whitley.
Well,
why did I think this was Randy Travis?
Similar kind of gravel depth on their voice, but because it hasn't stopped raining and it won't stop raining.
No, it's not going to. How many inches, Joan, do we need before the drought is over? That's what I need to know.
I do believe the drought may be over. We can check with our friend Stefano about that, but yeah.
Oh yeah, send Stefano a note.
Should I
would
send
you?
him a note? Yeah.
And ask him how long how many more inches do we need before the drought is over? Because it's literally raining like all week.
Can I just tell you what this is doing to our golf game?
Well, boy, it's all about you, isn't it, Joan?
Yeah.
I mean, forget about the farmers that desperately need the rain.
Oh, well, they do, and I'm very glad for them. But gosh darn.
But your golf game is just, you're getting a little chippy because your golf game is suffering.
We go out anyway, but when you hit the ball and there's like a splash of dirt and grass that hits your face, it's just not fun.
Joan, there are people starving in Africa.
I was about to say, Joan.
You sound so white. I do.
You do. You sound so white. Oh, my goodness gracious. Hey, by the way, 37, just real quick. 3774 says, hey, y'all should know YouTube has made it increasingly harder and harder to find your live stream each morning.
What? What? How?
I don't know. I mean, at least make it hard. Anyway, so what you need to do is you need to like and subscribe. That's what you need to do. Like and subscribe. Like, I don't know. Can I just say
hit that bell. If you like and subscribe, hit that bell. You'll get notifications every time we go live.
Smash that notification button or whatever it is what they say. That's what all the kids say. I probably don't do a good enough job of telling people to like and subscribe. I know that. People keep telling me I need to do that more. Anyway, so do me a favor. Chris was talking about this, and then I promise I'm going to get to content. But Chris was talking about the number of people who are watching the stream on YouTube that have actually liked and subscribed to it. I don't know how Mason is able to figure that out. Maybe you can. But, I mean, here's the deal. All you got to do, if you don't want to, for whatever reason, like and subscribe, all you really have to do is just at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to YouTube and type in Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and the thing pops up, right?
Yeah.
So...
But it's a lot easier if you have liked, subscribed, and hit that notification bell.
It is. It is. And particularly, do it during the morning show, 5 to 9.
And if YouTube's giving you fits, not that we want to deter from YouTube, Facebook, same thing. If you like the Facebook page, you get notified every time we go live. Same with X. If you are locked in, you will get notified due to the algorithms that try to screw us.
9421, check your privilege, Joan.
Oh, gosh.
You did it, Joan.
It's privilege to golf?
Joan, how old are your clubs?
Year?
Boy, that must be nice. By the way, 3774 also says if you go to, can you check that? Somebody check this for me. If you go to YouTube and you pull up Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 3774 claims that it brings up videos from 2 years old, which, by the way, you want some comedy? Go look at our Between Two Ferns videos, Joan, from a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
They were not good. Now, I mean, if you actually look at those old videos, you'll see a few things, but one of them is that, now we're playing video. We've got the big TV screen in the back of us, and we've actually come a long way in our video presentation. But anyway, so just check that out, and maybe
Well, you have to find the one that says live. So there's a whole bunch of videos that pop up. I noticed this while I was away. I was trying to watch on YouTube because I can't get away from the show.
Right.
And I did notice that there's so many options for which ones you can watch. You just have to look for the live tag.
And where is that on the?
I will go look right now.
I'm just curious. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I noticed the same thing that the listeners are. They also, for me anyway, when you go onto YouTube, it says your watch history is paused. I don't know why.
So maybe YouTube has figured out that we're like egads, conservative, and they're starting to mess with us a little bit. I mean, could be.
Right, WTN. Okay. Yeah, the very first one says, if you're subscribed, the very first one at the top says subscribed. And then when you click on that, the very first video that's there is the live video. And the live shows up in the right lower corner.
I'm going to blame Chris.
Chris Hand?
Yeah.
Why?
He's the reason the algorithm's all messed up.
What did he do?
Because he plays this too often.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
So then YouTube thinks we have Alex Jones on our show.
Oh, they don't.
Well,
so by all means, play it some more, Sam.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Anyway, so like and subscribe, and you know what, Joan? I think the operative phrase is we're worth it. We are worth the extra effort it takes to find us every morning on either X, 997WTN.com, or YouTube as well. And we do make it a point not to play Alex Jones on this show.
What the heck?
Not that I don't like Alex Jones.
Yeah, but it is kind of funny.
I don't really like Alex Jones. There's moments where he is actually hilarious. Anyway, and by the way, there's also times when Alex Jones is actually right. So whatever, moving right along. Don't want to get into that. Let's see here. You were talking about Joan in Texas. Is the primary is today, right?
It is.
Runoff, is it the runoff today?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the runoff today. James Tallarico is somebody who, we've been having a lot of fun with Tallarico and the things that he has said in the past. And a great new commercial has dropped in the state of Texas. I've got that for you and a whole lot. Oh, my goodness gracious. Also, did you see what Spencer Pratt, his latest
No.
in L.A.? Oh, you've got to see this and hear this. All right, it's all straight ahead. 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, looks like we've got considerable cloudiness and humid. A couple of showers today and a thunderstorm. High of 77. Appreciate you listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so James Tallarico, I think that the Republicans are really, really learning, and if they're not watching Spencer Pratt in L.A., they should be, but they're really learning how to come up with some ads that are really effective, because really all they need to do is let the Democrats speak for themselves. For example, the Democrat running for Senate in the state of Texas. This is James Tallarico. Listen and watch.
The Democrats have a weird candidate.
God is non-binary. There are many more than two biological sexes. In fact, there are 6. It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption. The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us. Prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness, my own masculinity. Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. No need to sit and cry over, your whiteness or your masculinity. They're going to call me a radical leftist.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children.
The Democrats have a weird candidate.
Low T Tallarico, too weak for Texas. Lone Star Liberty package.
Low T Tallarico. I love that. And in one of those videos, Tallarico is standing. It looks like he's in some sort of a committee hearing or something. But he's the only guy on that stage wearing a mask, if that tells you anything about James Tallarico. Low T Tallarico. Now, I mean, we've had fun with his audio before. The dude is an absolute loon. So we'll see if Ken Paxton is the Attorney General for the state of Texas. He is now running against John Cornyn, who is the current senator for the state of Texas. Donald Trump has come out now again a couple of different times and really thrown his political weight behind Ken Paxton. Now, Ken Paxton has had a lot of accusations against him, just to let you know that I know, because every time I mention Ken Paxton, people start texting into the super text line about all of the various scandals and accusations. He was actually impeached. Believe it or not, Ken Paxton was actually impeached by the Texas House, did not make it through the Senate in the state of Texas. He has actually been elected 3 times, reelected. Elected once and then, of course, reelected a couple of different times in the state of Texas as their attorney general. A lot of people like Ken Paxton. A lot of people say that he is very Trumpian, if you will. Paxton, again, is up against current Senator John Cornyn, who Donald Trump has never really seen eye to eye with. The president characterizes it as John Cornyn has been disloyal to the president. Okay. Then you have, again, this Democrat Tallarico, who has just said the most bizarrest of things, and we played just some of them. Then you have this Democrat out of Maine running against Susan Collins, Graham Plattner. We've been talking about Plattner as well for quite some time. He's been doing a lot of internet trolling over the years, and, really, you could look at this segment and you could talk about just how absolute bat crap crazy the Democrats have become and some of these candidates that they have been running. I just played you an example of Tallarico and how crazy Tallarico is with some of the things that he says. For example, God is non-binary. There's, 6 biological sexes or whatever it is that he said. Well, Plattner is just as bad in the fact that he is a troll. And he has said some things over the years that, quite frankly, are horrific things that we've talked about. One incident came up over Memorial Day weekend, last couple of days, where Graham Plattner, he mocked a Purple Heart recipient and said that Purple Heart recipient did not deserve to live. I'm going to say that again. The guy running for Senate in the state of Maine against Susan Collins, this is a guy fully endorsed by Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. They've both gone out onto the campaign trail with him. He said that a guy who got a Purple Heart after being shot did not deserve to live. That's who the Democrats are proudly running. Now, the guy that ended up with the Purple Heart, his name is Ted Daniels, and his helmet cam was released back in 2012, and Plattner literally said that the guy did not deserve to live. This is from Fox News.
Since deleted Reddit posts archived by the Maine Monitor in a database, Plattner calls Daniels dumb, saying he didn't deserve to live, and that, quote, poor marksmanship on the Taliban's part is the only reason this mouth breather made it home.
I mean, wow. So that's not all he said. That's what I could air on the radio. Here's what he actually said. He said this video of the shooting of this veteran as he was fighting against the Taliban, this video never gets old. He said, dumb MFer didn't deserve to live, at least his stupidly and fat ASS wheezing are available for all future infantrymen to witness and hold in contempt. Plattner then says that all the decisions the guy made were the wrong decisions. So, the guy calls him stupid. He calls him a fat A. He calls him an MFer. The whole thing, says he didn't deserve to live, basically saying the guy should have died. So now, on Memorial Day weekend, this, of course, came out, as it should if you're doing, politics the right way. People are asking Plattner if he owes this guy Daniels and all Purple Heart recipients an apology. It doesn't matter what folks think, though. Apparently, Plattner is refusing to apologize. And by the way, this is just the latest. Plattner has also called himself a communist. He said that sexual assault victims need to take responsibility for themselves. He's made anti-police comments. He's got Nazi tattoos. He's endorsed political violence, and he has made a whole bunch of staffing issues happen with his campaign where people are now fleeing his campaign. They don't want to work on his campaign because apparently it is such a problematic campaign. So this guy, Graham Plattner, he's just a bad guy.
Daniels replied, by the way.
Oh, he did? What did he say?
Yeah, so Daniels was quoted as saying, people like this don't say stuff like this to my face. It's online, and that right there tells me, Graham, you're a coward. Thank you for your service, Graham, but I think you're a scumbag personally.
Well, I agree with Daniels, and I know a lot of other people do as well. This guy, again, Plattner, he campaigned with Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. They vouched for this guy. And now the question is being put to Hakeem Jeffries, Elizabeth Warren, and Chuck Schumer after some really bizarre, lewd, and not safe for radio social media posts were exposed.
Is Graham Plattner a liability for Democrats after those lewd Reddit posts were exposed?
I haven't seen those posts.
Senator, do you rescind your endorsement of Graham Plattner after those lewd posts on Reddit?
Keeps on walking.
Are you reconsidering endorsing Plattner after those lewd Reddit posts that came out?
And of course, that is last one was Chuck Schumer. Nobody wants to say anything about these posts. I can't talk about it, but basically what Graham Plattner was saying was that he likes to do very personal things.
Oh, in the porta potty?
In porta potties.
You can kind of gloss over, because people need to know how much of a weirdo this guy is, right? You need to be.
He was arrested, so isn't there a record of it?
Was he arrested for
I don't think he was arrested for doing some things in the.
He
use
says,
your imagination, folks. He's alone in the porta potty, and
on
he
a
talks
construction
about
site.
On a construction site, and he talked about in these Reddit posts going into these porta potties, and he wants to do things to himself in the porta potty.
The smell of the blue water in the porta potty is what gives him the desire to have a self meeting.
Come on, people are having Cheerios. Coffee.
That is kind of, he said that's what he,
specifically
the blue, whatever.
The blue
All right, moving right along.
Dude's a freak.
He is a freak. Listen, no. Sam, Joan, he's not a freak. He is proudly endorsed by Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. Come on.
I know.
Insane.
If he's around a porta potty, it's not safe.
Anyway, it is 6:55. Joan's got the news at 7. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here on Super Talk 99.7, why the U.S. has bombed Iran overnight. Also, shares of one sports car company plunging this morning as it unveiled its latest car. We'll tell you what's happening there at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. It is 6:56 on Super Talk 99.7. I want to tell you about my friends at the Covered Patio. You know, one of the things that I did this weekend, absolutely loved it, as a matter of fact, is I was out on my back porch, on my back patio, enjoying the rain, enjoying just the sounds and the smell. And a lot of that is because I have a covered patio, the kind of covered patio that my friends at the Covered Patio can do for you. Now, spring and summertime, warmer weather does mean that you want to spend more time outside. If you would like to add more living space to your home, think about building or upgrading your patio. They've got motorized screens so that you can easily keep the patio open when you want some sun and closed when you want some shade. So your back screened-in porch becomes a lot more enjoyable thanks to my friends at the Covered Patio. They've got a ton of outdoor living options with motorized screens, patio covers, custom wooden decks, and outdoor structures. They've got a ton of options with styles for every budget. The Covered Patio is dedicated to fair prices and customized solutions for your specific home and your specific space. So you can enjoy your home a lot more with an incredible patio upgrade from the Covered Patio. Reach out, tell them Dan Mandis told you to call them at 615-695-2407, 615-695-2407, online, thecoveredpatio.com, thecoveredpatio.com.
Good morning, 7 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And tensions between the U.S. and Iran heightened overnight after the U.S. sank 2 Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps ships.
The Pentagon now says U.S. forces have launched new airstrikes inside Iran, describing them as self-defense strikes to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. The strikes carried out in the area of Bandar Abbas, home to Iran's main naval base, reportedly targeted missile launch sites and Iranian boats trying to lay mines off the coast. The attacks coming despite the ongoing ceasefire.
That's ABC's Sophie Flay. Iran has responded to the strikes by launching surface-to-air missiles at U.S. planes, but the U.S. has destroyed those missile launchers. President Trump remembering the nation's fallen service members yesterday at Arlington National Cemetery.
They've not just made the ultimate sacrifice, they've offered the ultimate proof that we Americans do indeed love liberty. We do cherish the self-government given to us by our forefathers. We do believe with all our souls in the mission that God has given to America.
The president also laying the Armed Forces full honor wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. A medical technician is in jail this morning for allegedly trying to smuggle drugs into a Nashville prison. Here's Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter.
Police say Tamarcus Macon was stopped last week at a security checkpoint at the Lois DeBerry Special Needs Facility. That's when officers say they searched his bag and found opioids, along with papers allegedly laced with synthetic marijuana and heroin. Investigators say Macon was denied entry to the facility and left the property.
Yeah, the drugs were sent to the TBI for testing, and that led to Macon's arrest. Police responded to a 911 call from the McKissick Park neighborhood yesterday, and it was from a mother who said her son was trying to kill her. Here's News 2's Megan Fee.
The victim told police her son strangled her and threatened to kill her. The warrant shows the mother was unconscious for a time during that attack and had injuries to her head and neck. 38-year-old Terrence Lamar is now charged with attempted homicide and aggravated kidnapping.
He's being held on a $400,000 bond. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. And we're watching the shares of Ferrari plunging in early trading after the company unveiled its first fully electric car. One analyst saying fans are disappointed that Ferrari's embracing the EV concept, believing it dilutes the supercar brand.
How to destroy a brand in one one decision. Why would they do that?
They would.
The whole thing about Ferrari is like big, loud engines,
Yes.
and you can feel the. Listen, I'm not a NASCAR guy, but I mean, I've seen the movie Ferrari, and I've been around Ferraris, and why would you do that?
At a time when every other company is now phasing out their electric vehicles because
the market's not there.
Nobody wants to buy them.
The Biden administration tried to manipulate Americans into buying those cars. Nobody wanted them. Then when the incentives expired,
went away. Yep.
Then people were like, well, we're not going to buy this.
I caught a preview of how the new engine's going to sound.
You're not going to hear it. It's just insane. So, yeah, Ferrari shares are falling this morning, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Well done, Ferrari. Again, go woke, go broke.
Yes. Stock futures all up this morning. The Dow futures plus 292, NASDAQ futures plus 312. S&P futures are up 50 points. Oil, however, is trading a bit higher this morning. Brent crude oil at $98.94 a barrel. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Wow, so slow on the roads this morning. You've got a crash, too, in Talbot's Corner, 65 South, past Trinity Lane. The right entrance lane has been blocked. Highway 70 in Bellevue Park, a crash at Cross Timbers Drive. Another one in Paragon Mills on Nolansville Pike at Edmondson Pike. A crash in Clarksville on eastbound 24 at Rossview Road. Another one westbound side on Martin Luther King Parkway. It is slow going this morning on 65 northbound all the way through Franklin and Brentwood on 24 west from Smyrna all the way in. You've got delays, big time delays at the merge of 24 and 65 if you're heading in from the north. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.708 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. A lot of people there may be something to the situation regarding Super Talk TV and YouTube. Another person, 4931, says, I am subscribed on YouTube. Regardless, if I'm on my phone or Apple TV, I will search Super Talk TV, but on the search results, only past episodes show up on my list. So you know what I would say is...
So weird.
You know what I would say is, here on Nashville's Morning News... Hey, Joan, watch this. So here on Nashville's Morning News, we do espouse the truth, and the truth is indeed out there, as in here.
Well done, yeah.
But you've got to find it on YouTube. And I guess only past episodes are showing up when I'm like 40 pounds heavier and I wear glasses, right? I mean, that... If you go back like a couple of years, you're going to see I'm a lot heavier, and I do have the the glasses on. What?
If you want, we can delete those.
Well, I don't care. Whatever. I don't know why they keep them up for so long. Why do they keep those up for so long, Joan? Like, I don't know why they keep these old 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Me blabbering on about Biden. Why do we still have those up? I don't even know. But whatever. So, bottom line is that, and it may have something to do with algorithms and all that kind of stuff. But what we're finding out today, people are complaining that YouTube is making it difficult to watch the show. So you have to like and subscribe. That is the most important part. And people, as we all know, people love that we are on Super Talk TV. They can see the videos to the audio that I'm playing on the radio and so forth. So
you could also go old school and you could bookmark the channel page, right? Get the link pulled up to the channel page and then go to the bookmarks bar at the top of your browser and then favorite that and then add it to your bar. And it should just be right there when you open your browser.
I have the same problem, by the way, with Mostly Peaceful, with Chris and Matt and me. Where, I try to find it. I try to find the most current episode, and I've got to go through a whole bunch of hoops. So, that's a little frustrating as well. By the way, Mostly Peaceful, sponsored by Wally'sBeanMachine.com, which I'm actually enjoying a cup of Wally's right now.
I actually can't wait to see him again because first episode of a show that he and I watch just dropped.
What's that?
Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, more about aliens out there in Utah.
Listen, you're gonna have a lot of like real life alien stuff to watch here in the very near future. So, by the way, real quick, Spencer Pratt. So he has come down with. I don't know if you folks have seen this. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you can see that what he has done. How dirty is Los Angeles? Los Angeles is so dirty that Spencer Pratt was able to power wash utilizing stencils a political campaign message so that the sidewalk is basically portions of the sidewalk are clean with this message. Imagine if the streets were this clean. Spencer Pratt for mayor of Los Angeles. So, I mean, that's how dirty the streets are. That is how caked on the dirt is. That they took this message in a stencil, they put it on the sidewalk, and they took a power washer and they stenciled that message into the dirt and the grime. I mean, that is absolutely nasty. That is what's going on in the city of Los Angeles and the state of California. And for the people in California, the people in Los Angeles, I think they're actually starting to really dig Spencer Pratt, as a matter of fact. When you look at the fundraising, have you seen the numbers for Spencer Pratt fundraising? So he's got fundraising of almost $3 million. You know how much is it? Nithya? Is it Nithya Raman? I think she's the one that was in the LA City Council. I think she has raised all of $401,000, and Karen Bass has $283,000. So Spencer Pratt, $2.72 million. Bass has $283,000 that she has been able to raise. And apparently, from what I'm seeing online, what he has raised, Spencer Pratt, is now rivaling Karen Bass's all-time war chest, is what people are saying on social media, so it must be true, that she built throughout her entire re-election campaign over months and months. So I think, and you're going to have people, oh, it's outside money, whatever. You know what? Again, I'm going to say the same thing. What laws have been broken? You want to look at broken laws, look at Karen Bass. Anyway, so now they're talking to Spencer Pratt. And one of the things that they're asking old Spencer is, and we talked about this a little bit on Friday, is that, you know, Donald Trump came out, and this is just brilliant. Donald Trump came out and he said that, you know, Spencer is, MAGA or something to that extent. And so now you've got all of these media types who are trying to hold that against Spencer Pratt as he's running for mayor of Los Angeles. Remember the ad that we ran on Friday where you had these three guys and they're like, I mean, I'm not MAGA or anything, but I really like what Spencer Pratt is saying. Just an absolutely brilliant campaign ad. So he's now being asked about the support of Donald Trump.
Said, I heard he's a big MAGA person in response to you. Are you a big MAGA person?
I'm a big nobody person. I'm a big Spencer Pratt Angelino person. I only represent myself, my community, Angelinos. I'm not part of any political party. I'm running a nonpartisan race. I'm supposed to represent all of Los Angeles, not either political party. And that's the problem. Everyone has lost the plot. The mayor is supposed to be a nonpartisan race. That's why there's no letters next to anyone's name. The mayor currently has hijacked the position in the chair, made it a political seat. It's not supposed to be. You're supposed to make the police, water and power, fire, streets without potholes, the lights on, no drug addicts in front of the parks, no drug addicts naked in front of kids' school. That is my party. It's Angry Angelito. So anybody can say I'm connected to whoever they want, and I'm fine with anybody saying I like Spencer Pratt. Great. Spread that message, because my message is common sense. Basic human quality of life. So it should be everyone. Obama should love me. The president should love me. Biden should love me. Biden's wife should love. Everybody should love what I do, because I want kids to feel safe, moms to feel safe. I want drug addicts to get the help they need, not this empty bed, give them needles. I don't know, it just broke the news. The DOJ, you've been sitting here, I don't think you saw it. I walked in. The DOJ just arrested one of the Mayor Bass and Councilman Raman's needle people that we pay that drop off the needles. They were also selling drugs to these addicts.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I didn't know that. Can you look up that story, Sam? So apparently, and I don't know if you saw this, Joan, he just said that apparently one of the people that distributes needles to the drug addicts in California, in Los Angeles, was arrested because he was selling the needles. He was selling drugs. That's Karen Bass's administration. By the way, 8123 says this: the pressure washing propaganda is not fair. If you go out to your sidewalk right now and pressure wash it, you will see concrete naturally collects debris over time and shows contrast when pressure washed. LA is disgusting, I'm sure, and a liberal crap hole, but not sure that example fits.
Ooh. Christopher Barrett Johnson, a 42-year-old Culver City man, formerly or at the time affiliated with the nonprofit PATH, People Assisting the Homeless, was arrested on federal charges for possession of fentanyl with intent to distribute. Location near MacArthur Park, a notorious open-air drug market area in LA. LAPD officers spotted him while driving a white BMW without a front license plate. He made an abrupt U-turn in front of them, leading to a traffic stop. Johnson appeared nervous. Officers saw a plastic baggie with methamphetamine in plain view on the center console and 2 knives on his person. A search turned up at least 142 grams of fentanyl plus nearly 46 grams of methamphetamine, along with a scale. He has been charged with federal possession of intent to distribute fentanyl, which carries mandatory minimum of 5 years with up to 40 in prison if convicted.
There you go. Good job. All right.
I thought it was life in prison. I thought that's what we had come to the terms on with fentanyl, sellers.
Well, you know what? I'm sure this guy fit some sort of a woke box. You know what I'm saying? Where he was like some sort of a woke category, and that's why. Because let's be honest. What's the right word, Joan? What am I looking for? The hiring decisions made by Democrats often are not the best in judgment. It is 7:18. Time to check the roads on WTN. Cloudy today, humid, couple of showers, and a high of 77. So what was this guy's official title?
Working for People Assisting the Homeless, or PATH. He was part of a multidisciplinary outreach team in the service planning department, and he was a substance use disorder specialist.
Well, listen, if you're slinging the stuff on the streets, then obviously you're an expert at how this stuff works, right? It's like on-the-job training.
I was going to say, and the really, you want to get to the sick part of it, his job was to go to these people on the street and interact with them. So he's got access to vulnerable people and is taking advantage of their addiction for profit.
Yeah, he's supposed to be helping. Dime. He's supposed to be helping. He was like double dipping, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he is supposed to be helping them, but what he's actually doing is he's being paid by the city to keep them addicted to fentanyl. That's crazy.
And possibly overdose and die from it.
And possibly overdose and die from it. You put that right up there with Karen Bass, her deputy mayor. Remember that whole story? Whose purview included oversight of the city's fire department, was placed on administrative leave after the FBI raided his home in connection to an alleged bomb threat he made against City Hall. Remember that whole story? Deputy Mayor Brian Williams, they say, was the source of the threat. How much, people in Los Angeles, how much more evidence do you need? Like, if you want to elect Nathia Rahman or whatever her name is, fine. But can you imagine? I cannot imagine that Karen Bass is going to be reelected. Like, if they reelect her, which I don't think is going to be the case, because I think I'm looking at the polling. I think I saw a couple of weeks ago that she was not doing well in the polling, and the spotlight is only getting worse on her poor judgment, poor hiring, apparently, and bad decisions. So either Spencer Pratt's going to win or this Nathia Rahman is going to win. But somebody, she's on the left. She's part of the LA City Council, I believe it is. They really do need a fresh change in Los Angeles. I think. I don't know about you, Sam. I don't know about you, Joan. But everything that I'm seeing, I think that Spencer Pratt's going to win.
Makes me want to go visit. Like the vision he's selling me on as a non-resident.
Right.
I'm like, oh, dude, I want to come see what your plan, how it pays out into the community, how things turn out for you guys and keeping stuff clean and safe. I want to see it.
And by the way, I would disagree with the guy who said using the stencils to wash out the political message in the dirt and grime of Los Angeles city streets. That is absolutely a valid argument. That is absolutely something that, and if you go to, Nashville, if you look at the video and you see how deep that grime is on the city streets of Los Angeles, it is disgusting. It's caked on. Okay, it's been a minute since I've been to Nashville. I don't think that even the Nashville streets are that caked on with dirt,
No.
are they?
No.
Joan, last time you went to Nashville and you looked down, were the city streets like brown with an inch of dirt?
Nope.
You got to remember, she doesn't do that. That's how she ends up with fire ants on her toes.
That's right. You don't look down.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever. So I do believe that is actually a fair estimate as to the failures of Karen Bass and her administration.
I asked Grok for some jokes about how dirty the streets of LA are.
Okay.
I tried to do the LA thing and touch the ground for good luck. Now I have tetanus, hepatitis, and a new Instagram follower named Ratatouille420.
That's good. Got another one?
I saw a rat in LA carrying a purse. Not for protection. She was just moving into a Spencer Pratt neighborhood.
I don't really get that one.
Because it was cleaner.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I see. Okay, I didn't get it either.
Thank you, Joan.
Yeah.
All right, Joan's always there to have my back. All right, very good. Enough of the dumb jokes. 723, Super Talk 99.7. WTN. All right, coming up, take the phones off hold. I'm going to try to redo the bit, Joan, that I did in the 5.
Oh, okay.
So if you are a parent of Centennial High School or Franklin High School where your senior graduated in the torrential downpours over the weekend, I want to hear your experience and I want to hear your reaction to it. Phone lines are open, 615-737-9986. If you spent any time online over the weekend, you saw, it went viral. It went absolutely viral where the seniors at Centennial High School and Franklin High School, they graduated, and the rain, the videos of these poor kids looking downfallen and crestfallen as they're just on the football field, and the rain is just, again, it's a torrential downpour. And there's a lot of controversy, a lot of frustration among some parents who are saying that it should have been moved into the gym. And I understand that, but I think that there's a couple of different ways to look at it. Some parents are handling this really well. Some kids are handling this really well. Others, in my opinion, not so good. I want to hear from the parents from either Centennial or Franklin High School. If your kid was out on the field, I want to know how you felt watching your kids in the pouring down rain graduating high school, a moment they'd been waiting for years. It is 7:24. Joan's got the news coming up at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, an ICE facility that was the scene of a riot this weekend. We've got that story coming up at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, it is Tuesday across Middle Tennessee, 5 days and counting to the Glock Store's 6th annual open house, and it does keep getting bigger and bigger. Now, don't forget, it is this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They are now up to $65,000 worth of incredible gun gear that they'll be raffling off between 10 and 2. That is huge. So you show up at 10, you start entering to win with those raffles, and you very well might win something. They're giving away 5 Glocks, each featuring some of their favorite performance parts from companies like Radian, Maple Leaf, and Zafiri. By the way, they've also got a couple of Ruger RXMs to give away, one stock and one with an Aimpoint Koa optic. You also get to shoot a fully built M1X for free. Ammo is included. And here's a great deal. The $200, $150, $50 deal. The first 200 people who spend $150 will get a set of $50 Savior electronic earmuffs absolutely free. I'm going to be there. Chris is going to be there. Matt Murphy is going to be there as well. So you want to come on out this coming Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Glock Store, the one and only Glock Store, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere, especially this Saturday. We'll be there, and so should you. And hey, go early, win big. It's a Glock Store thing.
Good morning, 7:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and we've got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Memorial Day services held across the Nashville region yesterday, including in Ashland City, where the community laid wreaths to honor the county's fallen heroes. And U.S. Congressman Matt Van Epps addressed the crowd.
This is what we have to keep doing. We have to honor and tell the stories of those who paid that ultimate sacrifice, who gave the last full measure of devotion so that we all could be here.
Van Epps says his father served in Vietnam. It gives him a constant reminder to stand beside the veterans who remain. Voters in Texas head to the polls today. They'll cast votes in the GOP runoff election that pits U.S. Senator John Cornyn against Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who has President Trump's endorsement.
The president cares deeply about his endorsement and the power it has in Republican politics. We saw this last week where he and his allies handpicked somebody to run against a critic of his, Thomas Massie, and really destroyed Massie, ended his political career. So we understand that private polling that Republicans have seen has shown Paxton pulling ahead. This is something that was probably not lost on the president.
That's ABC's Ben Siegel. While voting with President Trump most of the time, John Cornyn refused to get behind President Trump's claims of a stolen election in 2020. In New Jersey, Governor Mikey Sherrill attempted to gain access to an ICE detention facility without prior notice, and she was denied.
We've been working with ICE to get into the facility. I was just denied that this morning. I was hoping well, we certainly will, and that's what I've committed to doing, is continuing to try to do that.
DHS says only federal officials have the right to enter without prior notice. They call Sherrill's attempt a staged event for the press. Sherrill is threatening to get that facility closed down for good. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Oh, boy, got a blockage on 65 southbound side in the Millersville area. It's before Louisville Highway, exit 98. I'm not really sure what is happening in that area. It may just be for a construction project. We'll keep checking on that one this morning. Bellevue, 40 eastbound at Old Hickory Boulevard West. That's exit 199. A crash takes out the right shoulder. Got a crash in Talbot's Corner on 65 South. It's past Trinity Lane, exit 87 on the right shoulder. And a crash in Paragon Mills, too, on Nolansville Pike at Edmondson's Pike. And gotta watch it still in Clarksville on westbound 24 and Martin Luther King Parkway, exit 11. There is a crash in that area. Very slow on the roads this morning presumably because of all the rain. You may need some extra time to head to work. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Seven 36, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and it is raining here in we're like on is this Music Row, right? It's raining on Music Row near the naked statues. Somebody needs to, put a rain. What do you call it?
Some slickers.
Some slickers, yes. Maybe an umbrella.
Galoshes.
Yes, galoshes.
Hey, I just heard from Stefano
on the naked statues. Yes.
He says that technically we are still in a drought. They only do an update like once a week on Thursdays. So we'll get an update on Thursday. He says there'll be some improvements, but in the last 7 days we've had between 3 and 5 inches of rain.
Okay.
So yeah.
And do we know, because it is raining here in Music Row. How much more rain do you think we're going to get? How many more inches of rain did he say we're going to get? Did he say?
I didn't ask that question, Dan.
Okay. So it seems like an obvious question to me, Joan.
The man's busy, so I try to keep my questions succinct.
Okay.
How much have we gotten, and are we out of a drought? So.
Do you know this song actually got some video, Sam? This song actually would have been perfect to play during the high school graduations for Centennial and Franklin High School in Williamson County. So you could not go anywhere online on the socials this weekend
and not see that video
without seeing the poor kids in Centennial and Franklin High School graduating in torrential downpours.
I want to know who the kid is who had his head down. He was just sitting in the chair in the white chair with his head down.
He looked so defeated, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So, people were saying that this was that picture of this one kid who was looking down, defeated, forlorn, and just wanted to go home. And I understand, they're out there in the rain. The school has a choice to make. The school can either move it inside into the gym or hold it outside and hope for the best. Now, these schools both hoped for the best, and they had it outside, and they torrential downpour on these kids. Now, to hold it inside, they would have had to cut the ceremony because you wouldn't have been able to have all of those parents inside the gym. So if you've had grandparents and second husbands and wives and steps and all of that kind of stuff come out to watch this graduation, and then they have to move it into the gym, not everybody can go into the gym. So they just decided, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have the graduation ceremony outside and hope for the best. And they got poured on. And so everywhere you looked over the weekend, you did see this. Either it was on Fox News. I was saying in the 5 o'clock hour that I actually saw it on the Daily Mail as well. And some other websites across the pond, if you will. So this did go viral.
Well, and it's a great allegory, isn't it? For socialism, right? And the equitable, constructs that the left want to put on people. Well, because not everyone can go into the gym, right? We can't fit everyone in there. So now you all get to get rained on.
Okay, so Dan and I were talking about this earlier. There is an element to this that kind of feels like, your days may get rained on in your future. And how you handle this rain kind of spells how you will handle your future as well. It's character building.
It absolutely is character building.
I would agree if our high schoolers were more mature.
Well,
if these were the high schoolers of the 1990s, it'd be a different story.
That's a them problem.
Them, right? This teaches them. There's going to be rainy days in your future, folks.
I agree, but the lesson won't set in until they're about to graduate college, and they think about their high school graduation. Like, wow, it's gonna be that catch up speed to actually have an impact.
Well, so there's a lot here. I think that there are parents that are blowing this way out of proportion because they're lovely little children can't get wet on their special day, right? So there is that as well. This is from Channel 2.
Proud Centennial High parent Victoria Burles posted this video of her daughter receiving her high school diploma last Thursday. Little did she know, the soggy celebration would soon be at the center of controversy.
As soon as the kids started speaking, it just the clouds just broke.
No lightning was reported, but the rain-soaked ceremonies quickly became a political lightning rod. Some people were furious, asking the schools to redo the ceremony. Even former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene posted on X saying the schools should have organized graduation indoors. But most students and parents I spoke with today say it wasn't a big deal and they had a blast.
It was the best graduation ever. It's made it a lot more memorable and fun with each other.
There was no way that these kids wanted to split to go indoors and have half of them do a ceremony, then the other half do a ceremony.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
I love that.
See, that's my thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so let's just deal with it because, as Joan said, there are going to be days where you have rainy days, and it's not always going to go your way. So it does seem to me like there were two different reactions here, right? Some were horrified that this turned into a rain-soaked mess, and others, like that family, actually embraced it. And I love that. As that one student said, it was far more memorable. So to move it indoors, apparently, the ceremony would have had to have been pared down, and nobody wanted that. Some reports have said that there wasn't, and this is part of the story that I'm trying to find out, but I can't seem to get an answer. But there's some reports that there were not as many teachers or administrators present, and that there was no one really there to organize the event or to take control of the event. I don't know if that's true or not. Remember, we're talking about Williamson County, Centennial High School, and Franklin High School, both. It's a little hard for me to believe that there were not enough teachers or administrators there, because there's got to be somebody there to hand out the diplomas and all that kind of stuff. So, but, honestly, at this point, who knows? Apparently, the teacher who organized the event has apparently now been fired.
Aiden Gardner, who is training to become a firefighter after graduation, said the downpour actually bonded him and his classmates.
Some people don't have a memorable moment of their graduation. I'm going to remember mine downpoured and it made national news for the wrong things, but that's just something to look back on and be proud of, kind of.
I reached out to Williamson County Schools about the rainy graduations. WCS sent us a statement which reads in part, based on forecasts and radar, we expected to complete Thursday night's graduation at Centennial and Franklin before the next wave of rain began. But unfortunately, changing conditions brought rain during the events. While the rain impacted those two ceremonies, it could not diminish our pride in our Centennial and Franklin graduates.
So the teacher got fired. Do you think that teacher, first of all, does it make sense that a teacher, no offense to teachers, but it was a teacher that organized the entire graduation? That seems bizarre to me. You would think that there would be a committee, or there would be, people that are vice principals, administrators, that kind of a thing. But apparently a teacher now has been fired for allowing this event to stay outside. And I don't know, for them to move the thing inside, it would have, again, had to have been pared down. And you've got a lot of extended family, that kind of thing. I don't know. You think that teacher deserved to get fired, Joan?
No, absolutely not.
I don't think he deserved to be fired, but if I'm not mistaken, all the interviews in that clip, they were high school boys, right?
No, there was a girl in there too that I don't know if she had any I don't know if they spoke to the actual girl, but there was pictures of her, smiling and sort of embracing it.
I could totally see where 99% of the boys are like, hell yeah, dude, let it rain on my ground. Like,
Rock on.
Yeah. I'm going to slide down the steps or something fun like that. And I can totally see girls that are, they really done themselves up for this. They're graduating high school, momentous occasion, and now your makeup's ruined.
See, and there is one mom. This is from the Tennessean, right? One mom's real quick. Let's check the roads. It's a messy commute, so let's check the roads real quick. Then I'm going to go through some of the reaction from some of these parents, and I believe that some of these parents are giving a bad example to their kids. Details straight ahead. Time to check the roads on WTN. Rain continues off and on today. A couple of showers, thunderstorm, high of 77. So this is from the Tennessean. One mom's reaction. So this mom ended up walking onto the field to hold an umbrella over her daughter as she tried to comfort her daughter. She spent hours doing her hair, her makeup, and practiced walking in her heels. She just was super excited, and she was really looking forward to this day for a long time, and it was ruined by rain. The mom says that she wishes the district would have held the ceremony in the school's gym. She says, I know that we would have had limited seating and people would have complained about that anyways, she said, but they should have at least tried to reschedule it. Rescheduling it could have been an option. I mean, no, you don't think so?
It's kind of tradition when you graduate high school that you and your family go on some kind of trip kind of immediately after in the following days or weeks.
Let's do a real quick Daily Dan poll, and that's a great point. Let's do a real quick Daily Dan poll. Joan, how do we say this? So do we say, should the Centennial and Franklin High School graduations have been moved indoors as rainstorms, not thunderstorms, as rainstorms poured down? Like something like that, Sam.
So it's a yes or no?
Isn't it? What? Give me another option.
Moved indoors.
Well, that's what I mean.
Or rescheduled, like you said.
Oh, you want to do? What would you have done if you're the figure this out, Sam? If you're the teacher, or if it's up to you, do you keep it outside, move it indoors, reschedule? A, B, or C? That's what I want to know. Because I feel kind of bad for the teacher because you can't win for losing if you're in that position, because people are going to get really mad if you move it indoors, because now stepdad, stepmom, aunts, uncles, grandparents can't go into the ceremony because it's indoors. That's number one. Or, if you move it outdoors, obviously, or you keep it outdoors, obviously you saw what happened.
I know it's not the same, but if you're going indoors, you can hand a junior a cell phone, the live stream, and put it on YouTube.
Yeah. True. Another post. This was a crying shame for the kids and family who have looked forward to this for 12 years. I know we can do better than this. Another post. This was ridiculous for these families and students to sit in the rain. Shame on you, Williamson County Schools. We are better than this. Okay. They said that others say that the county should move graduations back to the Ag Center. So I look back as to why they moved away from the Ag Center. Shocking. Part of this is due to COVID. So schools had to rotate in and out quickly. It became a logistical nightmare when they did it at the Ag Center. Some say using the Ag Center is more expensive. Don't know about that. Post-COVID, people didn't want to have large events indoors, so they switched to outdoors, according to ChatGPT. Apparently, it is easier to live stream as well from the football field than the Ag Center. So, here's the thing, folks. I was watching all of this play out on social media over the weekend, and you've got all these parents just, hair on fire, pissed off, screaming capital letters at the school. And, I'm sitting there thinking, a 17-year-old, 18-year-old me, as I am graduating from high school, I would have laughed it off. You see, I think that kids get their cues from their parents, right? Don't kids get their cues from their parents?
Absolutely.
So if I'm a parent in that situation, this is a great example for your kids. You know what? Your day, oftentimes, it's going to be rained upon. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. And so for these parents who are just, on Facebook, just, typing and typing and typing and typing all weekend long, it's like, people, your kids are watching you react to this. You don't want to raise a bunch of snowflakes. So there's a little rain, a little makeup, a little mascara is going to be run. But you know what the bottom line is? Your kids need to be resilient.
Yeah.
Not this week, man. It's rainy all weekend long, and it's going to rain all week.
Well, the lesson for the kids. Tomorrow may not be tomorrow, but tomorrow will eventually happen that the sun will, it'll come out.
The sun will eventually come out.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Whenever that tomorrow is. It could be day after tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow's tomorrow. You get the point.
And the next day, and the next day.
You have to be able to laugh it off. That's the whole point. You have to be able to laugh it off. And parents need to be able to show their kids what it's like to be resilient and not break down every time something doesn't go your way.
I was running to the courthouse to return a document for an attorney one time. I stepped in a massive puddle that apparently everyone decided to put their cigarettes out in that morning. As I'm walking into the courthouse, so my entire, from like my shin down, is soaked. And my shoe was starting to absorb the stench. By the time I got in front of the judge, everyone in the courtroom was going, what's that smell?
And it was Sam's feet.
And then everyone looked down, and there was I was wearing gray pants and brown shoes. It was very clear I'd stepped in a massive puddle. I kept on trucking.
What you got to do, man.
Yeah. And then immediately...
You can't have a mental and emotional breakdown every time something doesn't go your way.
You can always wash your feet in the public bathroom.
Sure. This, by the way, is Mom Brandy Thigpen.
Life is not always sunshine and Instagram-worthy moments. I mean, sometimes it rains and you just adjust and you laugh where you can and you keep going.
Franklin parents I spoke with acknowledged it was disappointing to not hear valedictorian speeches and unfortunate that the rain made it difficult for some people to attend. But students agree it would be a graduation they'd never forget.
There you go. Exactly. Well done, Brandy Thigpen, whoever you are. Let's see here. So now I'm looking to see how wrong people think that I am. Let's see here. Have you ever sat in the rain at a sporting event, 0102? Yes, as a matter of fact, I have many times. And you know what I do? I sit in the rain at the sporting event or I go home. It's a little different, but whatever. Let's see here. The graduates might be able to just brush it off. It is the parents and the elderly grandparents that made the trip that I'm sure did not appreciate getting drenched in the rain. But they made the trip, and so had they moved it into the gym, there's a possibility they may not have been able to see it anyway. Right? 4002, OMG, it was just God reminding all the Karens they aren't special.
Yeah. See?
4885 is going to rain on my parade. Sometimes it rains. I couldn't care less about this topic. That's fine. But you know what's funny? Oh, gosh. I have so many people come. So while 4885 says, I don't care about this topic, of all the things that I've spoken about today, this is the one that is getting the most response. Although, I asked people to call in on this topic and nobody called in. 615-737-9986, but it's too late now. Neener. Anyway, 754 Super Talk and 99.7. But you know what?
So mature of you.
Do you know what I learned, Joan, as a talk show host?
What's that?
Sometimes a lack of callers will rain on your parade that you think it's a great topic and they don't call in. What do, Joan? You don't sit and cry. No, you just move on. That's what you do, right?
Yeah, you growl.
Or that. 7:55, Joan's got the news at 8. Joan.
Yeah, Metro Police have just launched a new tool. Also, we're going to get you updated on what's happening with Iran this morning as there were some airstrikes overnight. We've got the stories coming up here at 8 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
7:55 on Nashville's Morning News. By the way, one person says, Bobby says, I don't know if that's our friend Bobby Petray. She says, they could have saved all of this by putting up a tent. I did.
A tent is not.
I did. No. She's right, Joan. Nashville Tent and Awning. I did commercials for a while for this place called Nashville Tent and Awning.
Yeah.
They could have called Nashville Tent and Awning and because they got like huge tents. You could have done it there.
Yeah. Do you think that it would have been enough? I mean, graduations are ginormous.
You could put up multiple tents.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. This is why you need a ballroom. You need the greatest ballroom ever. All right, I thought that was funny.
Are you using the hands?
I did. I was doing the whole hands thing. Whatever. Moving right along. Mark Spain Real Estate. Avoid the headaches of a traditional home sale and move on your timeline with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Dan Mandis here. Selling your home can be overwhelming. That is why who you work with matters. Now, my friends at Mark Spain Real Estate can help you sell your home hassle-free without the stress of putting your home on the market. Now, Mark Spain Real Estate has been in the business for 30 years. They know what matters most to their clients, a quick sale and maximum profit. Now, one of their satisfied clients, Chris, said selling our 16-year-old home was quick thanks to the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. We avoided the stress of showings, constant cleanings, and negotiations. The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate was exactly what we were hoping for. Now, you could be next. Mark Spain Real Estate is the #1 most reviewed real estate company in the U.S. with over 13,000 five-star reviews. Trust them to sell your home fast and for top dollar. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be on your home. There's no obligation. Call them 855-299-SOLD or go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Good morning. It's 8:01. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Metro Nashville police are beginning a new drone program today. Here's Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac.
The department is launching what's called a drone as first responder. This is a pilot program, and 3 drones will launch from the roof of the Madison precinct and then respond to certain emergency calls within about a 2-mile radius. And police say that the drones could help during active investigations, missing person searches, and major crashes as well.
Sending out a drone first, say police will help them to know what to expect when officers arrive on the scene. The trial will last for about 45 days. The crash last night on I-24 westbound has ended in tragedy. That was a crash near Old Hickory Boulevard. It involved 4 cars. One of them had overturned. A man was killed and 2 others transported to hospitals. All the westbound lanes were reopened early this morning. The Deep South still bracing for a new round of heavy rain and thunderstorms following some damaging storms over the holiday weekend.
A suspected tornado slamming into the ABC station in Dothan, Alabama. Security cameras catching the moment one employee tried to leave the building when the glass wall started shaking before a glass pane was smashed and sucked into the storm. Several nearby homes damaged, but no injuries reported.
ABC's Lindsay Tuckman reporting those storms turned deadly near Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and in South Carolina. The gorge at Cummings Falls State Park in Cookeville is open this morning, but don't expect to be able to swim there yet. State officials say the gorge is prone to flash flooding, and all the rain this past week makes swimming unsafe. You can still get a pass to enter the gorge. They're at the gift shop every day until 4 p.m. The Pentagon says the U.S. launched strikes in Iran as Iranian officials have arrived now in Qatar for peace talks.
U.S. Central Command describing the strikes as self-defense that targeted missile launch sites and Iranian boats that were attempting to put mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying the strait will be open one way or another, but did not provide details on how that would happen.
It's going to take a couple days to settle on, even down to the disagreements over a word, sentence. So we'll have to work through that.
On Saturday, President Trump said a framework for a deal to end the war had been largely negotiated.
That's ABC's Rachel Scott. Police have finally busted the men responsible for break-ins at the homes of professional athletes here in the U.S. 3 Chilean citizens have been arrested in Argentina. They're awaiting extradition to the U.S. In all, 7 people have been named as defendants in that case. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. The futures markets pointing up this morning with the Dow futures gaining 253. That's the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. All right, we've got a traffic accident on 65 southbound in the Goodlettsville area. It's a rolling roadblock, actually, and the left lane is closed off by it, right by Long Hollow Pike, exit 97. At the Hermitage this morning, 40 eastbound, the off-ramp to Central Pike, a car has overturned on the off-ramp and the right lane is blocked off. You've got a crash in Bellevue on 40 eastbound before Old Hickory Boulevard West. 2 right lanes are blocked. It looks like there is a wreck around the scene. Rural Hill, Bell Road at Eagle View Boulevard, a crash. Another one on Briley Parkway in Whites Creek at Whites Creek Pike. And one more at the airport. You've got an accident 40 westbound before Donaldson Pike. It's in the right shoulder. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.807 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. Welcome on in. It is still, I believe, raining outside, and it's kind of an icky day. It's going to be an icky week, as a matter of fact.
Is that a technical term?
It is now.
Okay.
We need the rain, people. We need the rain. Even if you have outdoor plans, we need the rain.
I'll let you guess who picked this song.
Well, it's obviously the guy playing the song, which would be you.
Yeah.
False.
Who picked it?
It's from a musical, so guess.
Come on, it's Gene Kelly singing in the rain.
Is this you, Joan? You picked this?
Yes, of course.
Hey, is there an Anthrax version of this that we could throw on? Maybe Metallica?
Jeez.
Because I know that
classic stuff.
as I'm on my way out the door today, I'm going to have to play some Ozzy to sort of cleanse my brain of Gene Kelly.
On.
By the way, people are mad at me.
They should be.
No, why? Because I'm bagging on Gene Kelly?
Yes.
No. So part of what 8138 says that this was the ultimate chance for a legendary character-building speech. But no, we sit here and we cry about rain. This is the problem with America. That's exactly right. What did we say ahead of time? In our pre-show meeting, Joan, we said, what a great character-building situation. Centennial and Franklin High School parents, some of you. I wonder, we did a Daily Dan poll. What did people say, Sam? How did we word the poll? And what are people saying?
Should the Williamson County school graduations have moved indoors with limited seating, been rescheduled, or currently leading at 59% of the vote, soak them grads?
So majority of people said that the grads need to be soaked?
Yeah, majority said the grads should be soaked, followed by moved indoors with limited seating at 25%.
Okay, can I tell you something? The soaking of the graduates, it gets them ready to be paying taxes.
Well, you know what would have been real fun?
And that's a joke. Laugh at the joke. Can you get soaked by the government?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's different. The government finds the nicest barrel they can, and then they bend you over it.
Well, there's that too. However, I was trying to do a radio-friendly version. Go on.
I was just going to say, someone should have brought some Dawn dish soap. Things would have gotten interesting.
You just can't help yourself. You literally cannot help yourself.
That's what... Thinking back, I started in the break. I'm like, if I was 18 again and I was graduating high school, yeah, me and the boys would have had some little pocket-sized dish soap dispensers, and we would have been slicking up the grass and trying to slide and make bubbles.
9159. One hand, I agree. Dan is partially right because life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
50% of the time.
I think that's actually very true. By the way, one other guy said Donald Trump is making... Joan, this is funny. Yeah. Apparently Chris Hand has arrived in the station because you're going crazy in the newsroom.
I'm not going crazy.
So anyway.
I waved.
So guy says, Donald Trump made a shirt deal. This is funny. Donald Trump made a shirt deal, and this is what you're talking about. So I say to Sam, Joan, I say, wait a minute, Donald Trump made a shirt deal? What kind of, so I'm literally Googling Donald Trump shirt deal because I'm thinking, did Donald Trump make some sort of a clothing thing? And Sam says, no. Sam says, well, Dan, no. It autocorrected, removed the R, and they're talking about the Iran deal.
Yeah.
Now, so we're clear, I covered the lack of an Iran deal earlier today. As a matter of fact, there is no deal unless there's been something that has come to fruition in the last hour.
Nope.
No, there's no deal.
Nope.
So I would love to say it's a shirt deal, but the reality is that no deal has been made. As we talked about earlier, Iran was caught dropping mines into the Strait of Hormuz, and so now we're bombing the living crap out of them. I don't think it is abundantly clear that as there's all of this, and I've got CNN on in the studio here, everywhere you turn, you've got all the media and everybody talking about, oh, a deal is close. A deal is not close. A deal is not, I'm sorry to say.
Could you imagine being the guy at the front of the ship that notices that? That's like, oh, dang it. What are they? You're radioing in to CENTCOM. Guys, they're putting mines in the strait.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to, but you have to read that information, obviously. You're like, ah, damn, this is going to ruin a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah, but you know what? We acted appropriately. We bombed the living crap out of them, and that is exactly what we should do. Because, and I'm going to go back to the question I asked before in the 5 o'clock hour, which was how genuine is Iran and their negotiations if, as they're negotiating a peace deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, they're dropping mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Like that is not good faith negotiations, people.
No, these are just buoys. What are you talking about?
So, yeah, I don't think it is going well. This was Fox News.
Forces target missile launch sites and boats in southern Iran. CENTCOM describes it as self-defense strikes. The strikes were conducted in an area of Bandar Abbas, where Iran's main naval base is located. Sources say the U.S. strikes are over and were defensive in nature and not an effort to break the ceasefire. But earlier today, President Trump said negotiations with Iran are, quote, proceeding nicely, but warns the war could restart if a deal isn't reached.
So we did a Daily Dan poll before the one we currently have, where we basically asked the question, I think, do you believe that the war is, the negotiation is proceeding nicely? Nobody thinks that this negotiation is proceeding nicely. Over the weekend, there was all of this hyperventilation in the media where the war is almost over. And even the Trump administration was saying we should have a deal announced within a few hours is what they were saying. I did a live show on Red Eye Radio. The first things that I said over the weekend, first thing that I said is we could know in the next couple of hours what the tenets of this deal is. And then as the show progressed, by the end of the show, it was like, what a waste of time. But I was cynical right from the start. I knew that this was going to be Lucy pulling away the football yet again. So for me, look, folks, I believe that we are a long way off. Now, first of all, whatever we're going to do is going to be a memorandum of understanding that we're going to open up the Strait of Hormuz but Iran is out there saying, no, we're not going to open up the Strait of Hormuz. We're saying we are going to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Well, okay, so that's number one. Number two, we're saying that we will abscond with their enriched uranium or the nuclear dust, as Donald Trump says, and Iran says we never agreed to that. So literally almost, if not every single thing that the Trump administration is saying or these Muslim countries are saying has been negotiated with Iran. Iran comes back out and says, no, that was never agreed to. So what are we doing? Like, why are we bothering? The U.S. says that Iran must give up their nuclear dust or enriched uranium and they say that they're not going to do it. And on it goes. I've got a little bit more on this. It is 8:16. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Goodlettsville, 65 southbound before long.
And that's without mentioning that everyone right outside.
The Central Pike, there's an overturned car, right lane closed. And Bellevue, 40 eastbound before Old Hickory Boulevard West. Accident blocks the 2 right lanes. I'm Christy O'Brien.
All right, very good. Still wet roadways this morning. Considerable cloudiness, humid with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. High of 77. So Iran has been saying they want reparations for the war. Donald Trump says no way. U.S. says that Iran must stop any nuclear ambitions. Iran says they'll never give up their nuclear aspirations. In other words, my opinion hasn't changed from where it was on, Thursday and Friday, which was, I don't believe that the negotiations are going along nicely. I think that Iran is delaying. And I'm not criticizing Donald Trump. All I'm saying is that I don't think that they're negotiating in good faith, especially when we find them laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz.
Iran says a degree of understanding has been reached with the U.S. as the country's president has ordered some internet service to be restored. Both sides say it's a work in progress. As talks continue to effort a roadmap for resolving remaining issues, here's where those talks stand. Now, Iran would be required to open the Strait of Hormuz, as well as ending fees and restrictions on commercial shipping. There would be limits on uranium enrichment that has to be discussed, and follow-up talks would need to address enriched uranium stockpiles. It would also need to take an active role in a broader regional de-escalation. The U.S. is holding firm on a few key points. First and foremost, no sanctions relief before verified Iranian steps, and to focus on turning a temporary framework into a final agreement. At least for now, nuclear terms remain unresolved.
All right. So that last sentence, nuclear issues remain unresolved. That's what this whole thing is all about, is nuclear issues. 2805, very valid point. So Dan, pretend that you are president for a second. What do you do? Do you nuke them? What do you do? No, obviously I don't nuke them. What I try to do is I try to open up the Strait of Hormuz, first of all, and I do it via force. Now, I don't know how that works. I don't know if we've got all of this military. We have all of this military might. So we need to somehow open up the Strait of Hormuz by force. I think it is clear they are not negotiating in good faith. We started this situation. Well, actually, Iran started it back in 1979. But we need to do something other than pee-foot around with these people, because clearly they have no real intention on negotiating in good faith. So I restart military action. That's what I do. We don't nuke them. I don't believe that that's the case, but we do whatever we have to do to try to take out as many of the Islamic Revolutionary Guards as we can and try to take down as much of their economy as we can. I'm just saying. I don't think you nuke them. Who said? Chris, did Chris say on Friday, that he would nuke Iran? I think Chris said that. I don't know if he's being facetious or not, but he said that they would. I don't think you want to nuke them, because then too many innocent people would die if you nuke Iran. So you don't nuke. Now you've got the small compact nukes that you could do. Let's define nuke.
I'm not qualifying. It's just after Nagasaki and Hiroshima, there was kind of a portion of the communities there that understood why it happened to them. Why they understood that this was unfortunately due to the government that some of them, helped put in power. And so there was a level of kind of like acceptance and humility that came with it. I don't think we get that same reaction out of Iran.
Tell that to all the people that were evaporated in Nagasaki.
These are not my words. It's not my opinion. That's something these people have stated as the generations have moved forward.
So doesn't anybody believe that if President Trump gave the go-ahead, Israel would be able to find the people responsible, the people that they need to eliminate, and they'd be eliminated in a heartbeat?
I wonder if that's why he turned the Wi-Fi back on. Because the IDF can pinpoint where you are in a room with a Wi-Fi signal. They can.
Yeah, they can.
They can figure out where your body is in relation to the inside of the room with a Wi-Fi signal.
They need to take out
scary.
as many of those Islamic Revolutionary Guard members as they possibly can.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, whatever the military action, whatever the next military action is, I think that's what we need to start doing, because I don't think this is going well. I just don't.
As for Iran, it could get phased sanctions relief, easing of the U.S. blockade measures, expanded oil and trade access, and a path towards broader economic normalization. President Trump today saying for that normalization to happen, our Gulf allies should join in. He wrote on Truth Social this: negotiations with the Islamic Republic of Iran are proceeding nicely. It will only be a great deal for all or no deal at all. I am mandatorily requesting that all countries immediately sign the Abraham Accords, and that if Iran signs its agreement with me as President of the United States of America, it would be an honor to have them also be a part of this unparalleled world coalition. The Middle East would be united, powerful, and economically strong like perhaps no other area in the world.
So that was a shocker over the weekend. Donald Trump saying to all of these other nations that they need to sign on to the Abraham Accord. You know, I don't know how serious the president is on this. We all know that this was a very big deal, the Abraham Accords in his first administration. But the president, as you just heard, now demanding that Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, and Jordan join the Abraham Accords as he tries to get this done. Also, Iran. Now, I'm sorry, but there's no way that Iran is going to join the Abraham Accords. I don't care if they ultimately sign a peace deal with us or not. They're never going to fully accept Israel. They're just not going to. Now, as a reminder, the Abraham Accords, the normalization of relations between Israel and Middle Eastern countries. Again, this was in Donald Trump's first term, a very, very big deal. But, you know, here's the thing. With Donald Trump doing that, hey, Sam, get the crickets ready. So when this happened, apparently there were representatives from all of those nations on the phone. Donald Trump said that he thought that all need to join the Abraham Accords as we go through all of this. And apparently the reaction on the phone from these Middle Eastern leaders was literally silence, to the point where Donald Trump said, are they still there? Yeah, that's what happened. So Pakistan said, absolutely no way. And just to be perfectly honest, I don't know why Trump would throw this out there at this apparently late juncture where supposedly we're close to a deal. I don't think we are, but supposedly we're close to a deal. And then he throws in, all right, now everybody has to join the Abraham Accords. And people are like, what? Why would you throw this in at the last minute? And by the way, for those people that are like, well, Donald Trump is being led by the nose with Benjamin Netanyahu. Well, if all of these other nations end up joining the Abraham Accords, there are some people that would say, well, that's a gimme to Israel because that includes business deals between Israel and all of these countries. So, I mean, that was just something else that the president decided to throw out. We'll have to see ultimately where that whole thing goes. And by the way, you could say, and Donald Trump is somebody who, you know, he swings for the fences. He's trying to get everyone all in. Critics, again, are going to say that this is further proof of the wanting to please Israel. Pakistan, by the way, again, already said no way. I guarantee you Iran is going to say no way. Some of these nations do currently have a relationship with Israel, so it wouldn't be that bad of a putt for them. But Saudi Arabia is like very well. Actually, Saudi Arabia was chiming in on their official response to all this. What was it that Saudi Arabia had to say about this? Listen close. No response, apparently, from Saudi Arabia, at least yet. We'll have to see if they respond at some point today. 8:25, Joan's got the news at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, Dan, what's happening in Whites Creek this morning? There's a big police presence there. Also, we'll take a look at stocks at the opening bell. Those stories at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joe. And 825, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7, WTN, Super Text Line, and Fuego. And not all of it positive. Will it go through some of what people are saying? 615-737-9986. Want to tell you about my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. When your home needs comfort you can count on, call the pros at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Right now, take advantage of special financing on new HVAC systems with up to 12 months, no payment, and no interest, no prepayment penalty either. Approvals are going to vary by credit. Now, here's the sweet deal. Get a free Yeti Tundra 45 cooler when you install a 17 SEER or higher high-efficiency HVAC unit. If you want healthier air, the Healthy Hive Exclusive gives you an electronic air cleaner and whole home UV system. Regularly, that's going to run you $27.99. Now, just $22.99 installed. You are going to save about $500. This is a great company. They get my seal of approval. Call them, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out for other great deals. Find them all online, busybeehvac.com, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com.
Good morning. It's now 8:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. All eyes on a property in Whites Creek area this morning where a multi-agency investigation is now underway. News 2 is reporting officers from the Lebanon Police Department and the FBI are all seen at that residence on Clarksville Highway. And they're also reporting several people in handcuffs were escorted into the residence. Now, WSMV4 is also reporting they've seen a SWAT unit on the scene at that residence. We'll keep an eye on this and bring you any updates as they become available. President Trump's role as a kingmaker gets its next test today. ABC's Jim Ryan is in Texas, where a Trump-supported challenger is facing an incumbent U.S. senator in a Republican runoff.
In the final round of campaign ads, current Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has highlighted President Trump's support.
Trump gives his complete and total endorsement to America First patriot Ken Paxton.
But the incumbent isn't giving up on MAGA voters.
Senator John Cornyn has a proven record of supporting President Trump's agenda. Senator
Cornyn has heavily outspent Paxton to get to today's runoff. Paxton hopes that's outweighed by Trump's latest post on X, in which the president said Cornyn has been, quote, very disloyal to me. Jim Ryan, ABC News in Dallas-Fort Worth.
In Southern California, residents who were forced from their homes due to a damaged chemical tank may soon be able to go home.
I'm very, very optimistic moving forward that we're going to continue with this success. Everything is stabilizing, and we're going to get them home as soon as possible.
That's Orange County Fire Chief Craig Covey. About 16,000 people remain under evacuation orders. That's down, though, from 50,000. The tank, located at a plastics manufacturing plant, was in danger of exploding because of overheating. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. And the opening bell just a moment ago, and the Dow Jones Industrial starting off 71 points higher. The NASDAQ starting off 234 points higher. We've got the S&P up 41. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Big problem at the Hermitage this morning. The I-40 eastbound off-ramp to Central Pike, that's exit 221A, is now blocked off. There's a crash there. There's a wrecker clearing an overturned car. So careful this morning. Again, in that area, 40 eastbound, the off-ramp to Central Pike is blocked off. Millersville, 65 south between Louisville Highway and Long Hollow Pike. It is stop and go this morning. Heavy traffic through a construction zone in that area. Stalled out car on 65 south in Talbot's Corner. It's in the left lane, right at Trinity Lane. West Nashville, I-40 eastbound at 46th Avenue. Exit 205, a crash there in the right shoulder. And one more at the airport on 40 westbound in Donaldson Pike, a crash on the right shoulder. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Let's see. This is No Rain. Is that what this song is by? This is No Rain by Seeing Apple.
Is that who it is?
Seeing Apple.
Is that true?
It's Blind Melon.
Oh, Blind Melon.
You didn't do that on purpose, did you?
Yeah,
Totally did. We do a little bit of trolling.
I just a little bit.
It's no Gene Kelly. I just want you to know.
Oh my gosh, she threw down Gene Kelly earlier.
Oh, everybody loves Gene Kelly.
There's a way to keep that 25-54 demo going.
The kids are going wild for him on the TikTok.
That movie premiered in 1952.
It doesn't matter. It's a classic.
I was reading a book over the weekend on the Battle of Athens in Tennessee, and one of the guys was like, "Oh, we like this movie star, but he went from the silent films to the talkies." I was like, "That's so gangster." The talkies.
The talkies. There you go. How are you? Good?
I'm good.
Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah. My first thought when I heard that music was, are you happy it's not the usual hip hop that Sam is throwing down?
Yes, I am actually, because I don't like hip hop.
There's not a ton of songs about the rain in the hip hop rap community. I mean, there's some.
There's some, but there's like, it's like Make It Rain.
Yeah.
Well, they usually...
Or The Rain by DMX, which is just not the right vibe.
Well, they sing a lot in well, if that's what you want to call hip hop. They sing a lot about snow, but they mean cocaine.
It's true.
And
usually when they do refer to rain, it's raining bullets.
Or money.
Or dollar bills, y'all. There you go. Yeah, that's one for the Super Talk TV crowd.
I did.
I subscribe to the notion that you make it hail. See, making it rain is where you throw dollar bills. Making it hail is where you chuck change at people.
Why would you throw change at someone?
It hurts.
He's broke.
Exactly.
He's broke, Dad.
I don't have dollar bills. I got some quarters.
If you're broke, you shouldn't be. If you're broke, you shouldn't be throwing money at anybody or anything.
It's true.
You'd have to have a cup out for it.
No, you shouldn't. Whatever. It's the Christian thing, Sam. Absolutely, give money. Give away all your money.
I don't think it matters how fast it leaves my hand.
Anyway, moving right along. So, anyway, good. So, you know what I noticed? I definitely noticed. First of all, Joan's camera is not working today.
It's not?
No.
So, as usual, it's the Monday morning weirdness here at WTN.
On a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, yes. Because we had bizarre things happen here over the weekend. We really don't know, but it's usually a crapshoot whether or not our equipment works because our equipment is crap.
Oh.
Did you see what I did?
I did.
That was good.
You sure the engineers aren't listening?
It's not their fault.
It's true.
It's just nobody's fault. They just,
It is what it is.
The 1970s called and they want their equipment back. What? Anyway.
They told us they wanted us on the YouTube because we'd be in the talkies.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and now people are saying that they're having a hard time finding us on YouTube.
Don't get me started. Don't.
We got like 9 minutes to fill. Go right on ahead.
I don't understand why we haven't been able to turn on monetization on our YouTube channel.
Don't get them started.
It would absolutely open us up to a new audience. And they're twisting our arm behind the scenes and not allowing it to happen.
Why? because
that doesn't make any sense.
Because they want to be able to monetize the commercial breaks themselves. And I'm like, okay, but if you doubled our viewers, it'd be a lot easier to monetize those dead air spots of commercials that are already there no matter what.
Right.
So what are we doing? I've had this argument many, many times. And it's so hard to drag a radio company into the 21st century, kicking and screaming the entire way while they're telling us to do what we need to do to make it work. And it's like, but you are hamstringing us. And if you let me do just a couple things,
Listen, and
I could really help behind the scenes, but they don't want to listen to me because I don't know.
You're not criticizing the company.
No.
So just so we're clear, you're not criticizing the company. And certainly I am not criticizing the company. If there was one of us that was criticizing the company, it certainly wasn't me.
It's Joan.
It's Joan.
Hey,
Joan, what is wrong
I'm
with
not
you?
even in this conversation.
What's your problem?
So anyway,
The
whatever.
problem, they don't trust you because you believe the birds aren't real. That's what it is.
That is legit.
Certain types of birds.
I have
Joan.
literally brought evidence to show you the robot birds, and nobody wants to believe me. I can bring you proof, and then you still look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah, we do, actually.
I dissected one in high school, so I know they're real.
You dissected a bird?
I thought the assignment was mostly frogs or baby pigs.
I was going to say.
Maybe
And
that's why I
What
failed.
do you think? What do you think they did after you hollowed that bird out, Joan?
Gave it a camera and a tracking device.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Child labor.
Anyway, so like and subscribe to YouTube.
That's back before they had security cameras in high schools too. So there's no way to prove where the carcass was going.
Yeah.
That's what we need you to do. Like and subscribe to YouTube.
We literally could take over the entire state, talk radio-wise, if they would just turn on the monetization on YouTube. We would instantly leapfrog the views of Chattanooga, Memphis, Knoxville, and then we could have a WTN statewide radio station. But they don't want to do that.
I thought there were no kings.
There are no kings.
No kings in government, but
No.
we're private enterprise. What are you talking about?
Apparently there is a king around here because whoever that king is won't let us monetize our YouTube.
It's true.
Do you know what the great thing is about my life?
Tell me.
You don't care.
I don't care. Listen, I cared for 10 years. I no longer care.
Here's the thing. As much as I'll sound disgruntled, having time away from radio made me realize that this is just radio stuff.
Yep.
And the further you get away, you're like, wow, the things I loved about radio, I love more than the things that are frustrating.
It's exactly right. Hey, what do you got with this Elon Musk thing over here?
So Elon, he's been going viral a bit. The first one, he's talking about a brain chip, the Neuralink, which is on its way. And I do think that I was actually talking to my 8-year-old about this. This is going to be like any other piece of technology. It's going to be able to be used for good, and it's going to be able to be used for evil. But the way he frames it, the Neuralink chip, talking about Jesus-level miracles, instantly turned me off.
Okay, here we go. Elon Musk.
You know, I think some kind of brain-machine interface that can give you cybernetic superpowers, I think, is probably good. It could, help people that have brain or spine injuries. Enable people who've never spoken for years to speak again, which we've done. Give people eyesight who have lost both eyes or the optic nerve, or maybe have never even seen at all, blind from birth. By direct interface to the optical centers in the brain, you can actually restore eyesight or give people eyesight that they've never had before. And you can enable people to walk again, which I think is profound. I mean, these are kind of Jesus-level things, let's say like when technologies are hitting like Jesus-level miracles, that's pretty good.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I see what he's saying. What he's saying is that, Jesus helped, crippled men walk and blind men see and the whole thing, and that's what he means.
But it's kind of like, ick.
Now, what do you think, Joan?
Yeah, I don't think you should go there.
Okay.
Especially, I mean, we're not talking about a guy who presumably is Christian. I don't
But
think.
see, that's why he's saying it. That's why he doesn't see it as blasphemous, because he's not Christian.
Okay.
I would.
I just don't like the framing.
I think that there's going to be some good stuff that can come of this.
There's some amazing things that are happening.
But I think that there's also going to be a push and a pull for a lot of people that don't need it to get it to be smarter and more competent. And I don't like that.
And I get that, and that makes sense. I mean, he is doing. Would you say what he is doing is miracles? I don't know if I would put it. It's a technology.
No,
it's technology.
It's technology.
Okay.
I think it's a lot easier to argue it's satanic than it's miracles.
I don't think it's satanic.
Yeah.
What are we talking? Wait, what are we talking about?
Elon Musk. He's got some satanic vibes.
Okay. I don't know if that's true. He's got some weird vibes.
Yeah. Weaponized autism.
Can I just say that? Can I just say this?
Weaponized autism.
What? It's a good thing.
Here's the deal. Scott Bessent gave the dude a black eye. So they're pretty weak A Satan. If that's I'm just saying.
Maybe.
Whatever.
But then he's got another one. You know the Jetsons? You know Rosie?
Yeah, his boy Elroy. Yeah.
Well, no, but the robot.
Yeah.
We're all going to get one. Everybody's going to get one. I think before we die, everybody's going to have a robot.
Really?
And he was selling that over the weekend as well.
All right.
Our robot has a real brain. It's like the Wizard of Oz, Tin Man. Well, it was a little harder brain, one of the two. So, in order for robots to be useful, they have to be intelligent. They have to be able to do useful things just by asking, and you have to be able to make a large number of them at an affordable price. This is what we can do. We have the only company with all the ingredients for making intelligent humanoid robots at scale is Tesla. This is a super big deal. Like my prediction is that on this front is that Optimus will be the biggest product of all time by far. Nothing will even be close. I think it'll be 10 times bigger than the next biggest product ever made. Like that level.
So I was talking to a guy over the weekend who runs a company.
Mm-hmm.
They're guys on his team that do manual labor.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that there are people pushing now that you could get an Optimus robot that will unplug itself at the beginning of the day, hop in a Tesla car, go to the job site, do all of the work, get back in the car, go back to the factory, plug itself back in.
That's crazy.
That's coming.
That is crazy.
There go jobs.
I don't think
out the window.
Well, I don't think 9mm is enough to stop that. You might have to upgrade your carry to a 45, possibly, maybe even a 50 cal Desert Eagle to
So
stop.
you're going to start running around and shooting robots?
I'm going to be prepared for when they turn. Inevitably.
That's the thing. I read a story about a robot who decided to erase a company's entire bill-paying infrastructure. And the reason why it did it is because the people who own the business didn't tell the robots not to. So they said, why did you erase all of our bill-paying infrastructure? And the robot basically said, well, you didn't tell us not to. And so they did it. It was like the weirdest thing a couple of weeks ago.
We realized you'd have more money coming in if we didn't have any money going out.
That's exactly right. So, yeah, I don't know. Would you want a robot? I would not want one. Joan, would you want one?
No.
Yes or no? I wouldn't want one.
I think these are going to be forced out of necessity. You look at the birth rate decline in this country and at nations all across the Western world.
Right.
You're going to have an elderly population that is exceeding the younger generation.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a necessity for these kind of robots.
I got a Roomba. Does that count?
Pretty close.
I call my Roomba Joe, as in Joe Biden, because he wanders like Biden did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably not very good at his job either.
We already have Alexa and Siri listening into everything we say.
Yeah, Google
We were
Home.
talking about squirrels over the weekend. My husband got, minutes later, an advertisement for a squirrel catching device. Honestly.
I was saying to Dan off air, did anyone else see the City of Minneapolis social media pages over Memorial Day weekend? Because they got flamed hardcore. And I pull up Facebook, and what do I see at the top of my feed? I don't follow them, but the City of Minneapolis. Where they had posted, by the way, context being, they had posted it today that remembers George Floyd's murder. And people were hammering them.
Guys, it's been 6 years since his overdose, so please have a little respect.
There's video of
Well, they basically they got ratioed into having to make a Memorial Day post over that.
And Tim Walz looked like a fool out there doing like the George Floyd dance. I don't know.
There's a George Floyd dance?
He was dancing. Tim Walz was dancing.
Is it a variation of the worm?
At a George Floyd celebration of life or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he looked rather ridiculous. And apparently, as the story goes, he skipped out on a Memorial Day thing so that he could go to this George Floyd thing. Unbelievable. But, I mean, it's not real surprising. I mean, why not celebrate a couple $100 million worth of damage to the city of Minnesota?
Too low.
Minneapolis?
Too low. That rookie numbers.
It was a couple hundred.
We were talking hundreds of billions, or not hundreds of billions. That's
It was
a bit much,
it was
but
hundreds of billions
nationwide.
across the nation.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy numbers. I forget what it was.
They burned down a police precinct in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And it's still they still haven't rebuilt.
You know what? If I were the cops, I wouldn't rebuild it. To hell with them. If they're gonna start burning down our police precincts, then why are we gonna bother to rebuild? It's like these pharmaceutical deserts where, okay, so you have all these people running in and stealing a bunch of stuff from the pharmacy, the CVS in Chicago,
Walgreens,
and in other places too.
Well, did you see over the weekend in Chicago there were more teen takeovers, and this time one teen accidentally tried to run over 5 cops.
Accident, was it?
It was an accident.
Sure.
Apparently, the car did it.
The car did it. It's a robot.
The car did it. Dan.
All right, very good.
There was a similar, I wouldn't say that scale, but I want to say it was 12 South, a Lululemon store in Nashville. They hit on a not smash, but they just ran in and grabbed a bunch of clothes off the rack and ran out.
Yep.
Big group of teenagers.
Chicago had nearly 24 people shot over the weekend.
I was going to say they had a rough weekend.
They did.
But remember, you can't arrest your way out of this problem, according to their mayor. That's racist.
What a dork.
Just
Grar.
Grar.
I'm just gonna keep doing my own like Joan growl.
I like it.
You know?
I like it. We should get it on a rotator.
Grar. 0331. The George Floyd dance is just. Oh, I'm not going to say that.
Oh no!
No, you know what? I can't.
What did he say?
No, you know what? I realized what he said, and I'm not going to say it.
Oh no!
No, I'm not going to say 0331. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Trying to get me to say something like that.
Commented on the Facebook post.
that Facebook post had like 37,000 interactions. 17,000 of them were people laughing at the Facebook post.
Well, there you go. That's exactly right. Oh, wow. Somebody just sent in a picture of a lunatic in front of them. All right, so don't read the license plate, but somebody has a car, and it says the following. It's scrawled in with, it looks like some sort of a marker.
Whoa.
MAGA is a death cult. Together, we are America, with a little heart.
Dude, the funniest thing about it is the Subaru.
Yeah, exactly.
And
3 cats and no boyfriend. That's my guess.
Maybe. Why would you put that on your car? Like, there's just a special kind of dumb, a special kind of stupid. I get bumper stickers and stuff, but it literally looks like somebody took a grease pen or a marker and just started writing on their car.
Also, like MAGA is a death cult. Which political party supports the
abortion?
The
abortion until after.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Honestly.
Weird.
You are exactly right.
Which party supports social murder? Hassan Piker? What?
Yeah. Hassan Piker, did you do that today? You talk about him?
No, I didn't.
He's
all yours.
He's being investigated because he had a trip to Cuba.
Helping out Cuba, trying to bypass those sanctions.
Dude, and now he's like acting like a little girl. He's like, "Oh, they're after me, you guys."
Sam was telling me he's like crying on his.
This is the guy that will he calls for blood of capitalists in the street.
Blood in the streets.
He should have been arrested a long time ago, but now he's like, "They're after me, guys."
Absolutely.
Help.
Okay, Joan, what's coming up?
Oh, you want to know?
Yeah. Well, that's what the format is.
Okay. So we've got the latest on Iran.
I really don't want to know. I don't care.
After the U.S. bombed some Iranian ships overnight, quiet over there. Why Washington is going to be super focused on President Trump today. Those stories growling and more coming up at 9 on Super Talk 99.7 WTO.
All right, real Chris, what do you got?
Well, we're going to have Dr. Susanna Underwood on today. We're going to be talking about how the Titans are getting rid of seed oils and why you need to be getting rid of seed oils. We'll talk about the latest on Iran. We'll talk about the New Jersey ICE riots over the weekend, and we'll talk a little bit about Chicago.
Dan Mandis here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I've been a client of theirs for years, and for good reason. One of the things I really like about Dr. Mitchell is he's not set in his ways. He's always looking for better ways, more effective ways to make you feel better. Enter Medical Bay One. Now, Medical Bay One is a futuristic healing machine that massages your body while doing full body lasers using red light technology, including using infrared. It also adds stem cell stimulations for tissue regeneration and uses photons of wavelengths for ultimate healing. Now, a lot of that may sound foreign to you, but the bottom line is it is the latest and greatest in healing technology, and Dr. Mitchell is the one that designed Medical Bay One himself. Again, it is a brand new way to heal. Now, you mentioned my name, you get access to Medical Bay One. You get $33 off of each visit. That is the Epic Spinal Special. $33 off of each visit, courtesy of the Wellness Institute of Nashville and Dr. Kevin Mitchell. Don't forget to mention my name. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, painisbad.com.